And I'm Bull Critter John.
Yep.
I'm BCK, Bull Critter Corinth. That's right.
Yep. And that way,
it's too close. It's too close to BTK. It's like it's actually kind of creepy when you say.
We've got Son of Pookie.
I'm BCK.
I'm BCK. Well, that's easier to say than BCSOP. I'm just throwing that out there.
You're like bind, cuck, and kill.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great episode.
Do you run a Boy Scout troop?
No.
No Boy Scouts.
No Boy Scouts. No Boy Scouts.
Okay.
I do enjoy Girl Scout cookies. Cookies. Just the cookies.
That
just the
focus
cookies.
on knot tying.
I mean, my nap time. I like nap time.
Not tying.
Oh, not tying. Not tying.
Did I complain on Dentist Day when we had to tie knots all day long? Your knot tying skills are horrible. Some of them always escaped.
It's always sunny.
Almost.
Oh my god!
Right, so we're going to be changing from our normal broadcast a little bit tonight. We're going to actually be jumping into a smaller portion of our world that we've created with Microscope. And Microscope is a form to play within to create the history of something between a bookend and book beginning. It's a product created by Lamemage Productions. Do we have a link in something for that? I don't think
if we had a quality producer.
We will get one of those.
What happened to the cards, dude?
They'll be up there in just a second.
Oh, okay. They disappeared.
I would have like a little card up here, like I get that one at 5. So
give me just a second. I'm gonna grab this link from Lamemage real quick since we're using their product tonight. It's actually lamemage.com. So if you're interested in what we're going to be doing tonight, if it makes you feel like you want to jump into it, lame like lame ass. Not lamage, like you keep saying. Lame.
Lamage. Is that like Lamas?
It would make
but okay, so the idea is you set a beginning of the time frame that you're working in and an end time frame. And you just explore things that are happening in between by creating them as you go. So the first thing is that we need to discuss our book open and our book end, which we were discussing a little bit before we started streaming. And we're going to actually have our conversation on that as I'm setting up the board real quick.
Because that's really important. Like, you got to know what your book beginning and end is.
After we figure out what our book beginning and end is, we'll be going through and setting the palette for the actual Microscope, and that's going to let us dictate things that we definitely want involved in things happening and some things that maybe we don't absolutely want to see at all.
And so while he's setting that up, actually I'll take the note to be able to say why the beginning and end is important. Like Corinth made the nod to it, the joke of you have to have a beginning and end. But if anybody in the audience is a writer, like that's very integral to like not getting what they say lost in the forest. Because if you don't have an end, there's a very good chance you will just keep writing, not sure exactly of where you will ever go.
For real.
Which is really bad when you have at least 2 of the people here with horrible ADD.
Yeah. And we have 2 people here who are, I don't know. Are you kind of film critics now?
Who has the horrible ADD?
Those 2, not me and you.
Yes,
those
John,
2.
Right? John has
which 2?
John
is at the screen.
John and Steve
on my bed.
Yeah,
Steve, do you have bad ADD?
Oh, he's terrible.
I never got that impression from you.
I really do. Why
He's
do you
like
think
a big,
that we
he's like a big ass squirrel.
So many games?
Just because your players are a fucking bunch of douchebags.
Well, I mean, the players don't help, but a lot of times I lose interest in something, and I will just jump ship.
So you're saying we exasperate your ADD?
Sometimes, yeah.
Drying dicks.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes y'all do. Okay, so the map is up. It is not a completed map, as is perpetually the case with us, because your map maker gets distracted easily.
Because our map maker has ADD.
This is Gojira. It's going to be the backdrop for what we're working on. Notice there's no cities or anything marked. It's just the mountains, the lakes. I didn't even get a chance to put the forests and stuff in yet, but that's all going to come.
It just kicked me out of Roll20. To kick you guys out too.
No, but Roll20 can be a pain in the butt. So just try and log back in, and we'll make the best of it.
Is this the nation that had Saito Shishi?
Yes.
No, well,
the Horde did.
The Horde did. Yeah,
yeah, but John's asking if the place still exists, so we can use it as like a historical relic.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that port city with the Trogs.
Isn't the temple like over here? Isn't that where that temple is that was built?
Trying to there's like I didn't mark any of the stuff.
20 is somebody moving the map around or something?
Not anymore.
I don't think I have GM permission anymore because we discussed that those bad thing for all those other GM permissions.
Take the GM permissions away.
You probably should.
Shio Sichi or whatever.
Yeah, that's your fault for naming that shit.
Yeah, where is that?
Yeah, can you mark those, Steve? Like the temple and that site?
He's like, fuck.
Yeah, I can. The only thing that is inside of the landmass of Gojira, though, is that one major landmark.
But that one temple, it like borders all three of the landmasses.
Yeah,
right?
that's in the southeast, right? Somewhere in there.
Oh, and the thing that the thing that borders the three lands borders Evergrove, Shandor, and the Skarn area. Gojira is the one nation that is up the river from where that temple is.
Yeah.
Are we still going to make that temple like sovereign, like we were talking about? Like make it like the Vatican?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Well, there's no nation that owns it right now, right? So
correct.
And that's in the bottom left. Can somebody ping that?
No, that's not on this map. That's what he's saying. It's not.
Oh no, that's in the Khanate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the Khanate.
Yeah, that's not attached to Gojira.
This is I just had that port city on the way over to the Scar.
CC Sashimi or whatever the hell you call that damn thing.
Saito Shishi. I don't even think I know what named it.
It was Steve.
Saito Shishi.
You did name that bitch.
Later with Japanese stuff, man. You guys said they were Japanese.
Okay. Fine.
One of the things that we were talking about is what era are we going to be doing the microscope in, right?
Yes.
So the options we have are all of them, honestly. I'm not trying to limit anybody's options here. But in my perspective, okay, I'm just laying that out so people can communicate with me. We have everything that we're working with is post the apocalypse that's wiped everything out.
Yes.
Right, that destroyed the nation states. So we can start as far back as when everybody was just kind of in small communities, or the robber barons were taking over. Who knows? That's up to the microscope. But right after everything collapsed, all the way up to the actual existence of the 13th Kingdom shogunate.
Well, you have to start sooner. You can't go from when everything collapsed because you created this nation state by outlining it on the board during a round. So it has to start from that point. It can't start from before that. Otherwise, this landmass that he's drawn out here doesn't exist like this.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, so
it has to be from a certain point. Yeah.
What round was that?
I don't know.
It was a round before the 13th. So it's roughly we're looking at about a 200 to 400 time period.
Yeah, I don't know when it was, but it wasn't at the beginning.
See, I'm glad I laid that out, and then made to understand what was correct. Okay,
so because the civilization Gojira existed, and then roughly 200 to 400 years later, the 13 feudal states came to be.
Gojira only existed from that point that you made it a nation state, John, by giving it borders and saying that they claimed the land.
That was after the apocalypse stuff.
Well, yeah, it was way after.
That was way after.
Because the apocalypse was what destroyed Khanate.
And then you eventually, I think maybe 2 rounds in is when you started giving them land during the conquest phase.
So really, we had that whole period there then, 200 years from the moment.
200 to 400 time.
So when the country or the nation state of Gojira claimed this land and said we're the nation state of Gojira, they didn't have an emperor at that time.
No, because
were they running?
Because the Geisig wasn't finished yet, right? So the emperor came out of the Geisig, but he wasn't necessarily the emperor as the Geisig ended.
Could they have had a different emperor then? Or could that?
I think they had feudal lords. Like the shogunate.
When I created the shogunate is when they would have had shoguns or an emperor, because that's what the shogunate is. It's when the emperor gives power to. So sometime before that is when it would have happened. Like before I said it was a shogunate. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
The second it's a shogunate, that means an emperor had to give his power to other feudal lords.
So was it a shogunate before the Geisig?
No, I mean, unless we want to make there an emperor before the Geisig started, which we
so
never
an
had,
emperor,
but we
and
could.
then he turned it. No, I'm just getting the timeline and the chronology right. So the
that's
emperor
what we could
became emperor.
We could do either or.
He split his power up afterwards.
Yeah, well, our idea was the guy when the Geisig became emperor and then split his power up. But you could say there was an emperor before that, but just didn't have.
To me, I thought there was a bunch of warlords. Everything.
Yeah, or you could do that. You could say there was a bunch of tribes battling, and then he creates the shogunate.
I would have figured that when the big horde, the Skarn-based horde fell apart, like the little warband leaders probably just became little like fief lords.
But you can have you could have an emperor, like they could have they could just call it the Khan or whatever, and that he's considered the emperor of all the different tribes. Like you don't have to have an emperor to have a shogunate, or you don't have to have a shogunate to have. You don't have to have a shogunate and an emperor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're like a different emperor, like an all power, no fiefdom emperor could.
Just if you base it off Japan. If you base it off Japan, there was an emperor when there was a shogunate. He gave up his power like willingly to the shogunate to like run the country.
Well, to keep power longer.
I guess, yeah. So his line, but he wasn't really in control then. The actual shoguns answered to him, but they just did whatever the fuck they wanted. So pretty much he wasn't in control.
So, are we picturing this land similar to like a Rokugane Phil, where it's a mix of different Asiatic ideas and other things from fantasy and fiction?
Yeah, to me, it's like Japanese high fantasy, but not just Japanese, but like Romance of the Three Kingdoms, all that shit.
Yeah, okay.
I like Rokugan because Rokugan is more high fantasy than like historical, medieval.
Japanese. Rokugan D&D or Rokugan.
I like the L5R game.
Yeah.
Oriental Adventures is almost the same thing.
Yeah, it really is.
I like their focus on the culture and things. I think it makes for a very interesting role-playing experience.
Yeah, when I made the event, that's what I envisioned was Rokugan, like a lizard folk version of Rokugan.
So
it's weird because it kind of makes it like the Shadowlands version of Rokugan, essentially.
Yeah.
What are we going to call the book open? The Rise of the Feudal Lords? Rise of...
Well,
I was going to suggest
the beginning of Gojira, right?
I thought it would be
interesting. Of Gojira? Sorry, go ahead.
Formation of Gojira.
I thought it would be interesting if the story is about the winner of the Geisic's rise to power. So we could start before he goes to the Geisig, maybe?
Yeah.
When he's just like a tribal lord or tribal leader or the son of a tribal leader. He doesn't even have to be like the leader. And see him like rise up.
My understanding is like, say we have a bookend in like the rise of like Gojira in this, but we can actually go before that bookend, can't we, to talk about Tashal? Like if he's the focus of it? Can we do that? Like we could technically go back before.
Yeah, everywhere inside of whatever your largest bookends are. So it does. See, that's one of the things that compared to microscoping in a blank world compared to what we do, which is kind of an established thing, is that like we're not going all the way into the past and the future as much in this situation.
Because we can't go to the future too much because we don't know what's going to happen.
But I wouldn't have a problem if we're going to bookend. The beginning of the bookend is the birth of T'Challa, right? If we say that's the beginning. If you on your turn go, well, I want to talk about his father and like what his father did before he was born. I don't give a shit if you want to do that, even if it's outside the rules. Like it doesn't matter to me as long as it's part of the narrative.
Well, I was gonna say is if we go to the rise of Gojira or like the rise of Gojira, which in itself could have an event that the very beginning of it is all the desolation at the end of the Khanate.
Yeah, you could do that too. At the end of like the apocalypse, right? Like you could even start.
No, not that. I meant like, like even that far back where it's like because some of those players might then bring about Gojira itself. And that way you have all the ability to go and play in all their history. Now, you don't go back into the post-apocalyptic stuff with a bunch of focused stories for tonight's intent, because like I said, I wondered what the intent was. If the intent is to follow the rise of this particular person, then we just want to get padding room on either side that we can dip into to
for padding room, just saying fall of the Skarn Khanate. isn't a bad place to leave the front end for us
We
to
can drop events that put items places for our own story, or things like that. That far back.
So,
I mean, what
to
you guys
me, Tashal probably came about was probably born after the beginning of the Gojira civilization. If you want to talk about actual age,
what if we do the rise to the fall? You guys down with that? No.
The fall
Well,
of
we
the
mean
Rise.
rise to the fall.
Like the fall of the shogunate. Like,
Well, we don't know how it's going to work yet because we don't know.
Yeah, I know. So our
We
bookend,
haven't-
our bookend is the fall. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the microscope.
We can do that because even though we might address something that happens past what has happened inside of our
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
our
Ebok.
Worlds.
the Forge of Worlds, as long as we don't set too much of that in place, we can still go back in the other portion and address it. So it's not a terrible idea.
You could also say it ends before the end of, because we're doing 200 to 400 year periods, right? It's still a long time for there to be a shogunate. So even if it ended within the same cycle of rounds, it doesn't really change anything. It doesn't mean it destroys everything we create either. It just means like there's no more shogunate, like there's no more shoguns running.
It might fall back to feudal lords. I kind of like
lords. It might fall back to the emperor running everything.
Rise of the Gojiran Empire to fall of the Gojiran Empire is an interesting open and end because we're not going to finish.
And we're not trying to fill out everything. It's just like, say we want this sword that's in one scene somewhere, and then we go, actually the grandson, this is the sword that's going to end up killing that kid, and so we can play the scene where that happens, but not know necessarily where it is in relation to the other parts of the timeline.
True. And like Steve was saying, even if the fall happens after what we currently have already built in Dawn of Worlds, it can always be included in Dawn of Worlds later during resolution phase because we have control of that narrative.
Full control of how that works. Yeah.
Right. So anytime we want to bust it in there, we can. I just think it would be cool that maybe if it falls, it turns into something else. That would be my pitch, like for the end of it, that they become something more than they were before. Like maybe they're the first like democracy or republic or something like that, or maybe they become like a fascist nation, like some shit, like something different than what we've done already.
Hey, John, is that red going to show up on the camera, or should I change the text color?
Okay.
The red is showing up fine.
Okay, good.
Opinion. Anybody in the audience have an issue?
I need to zoom in like a punk, though. That's what I need to do.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and mark the fall of the Empire as a bad thing.
Yeah.
At this moment, it seems like it would be a bad thing, and rise to
it might be a good thing.
As a good thing.
It might be turned into
it might be a good thing.
Fascist genocidal state.
Maybe the people will take control of their nation again or something. It could be good.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to mark it right now, but I'm going to say that those particular events could be fluid based on how things go. Now I'm going to hope
to put them far away from each other, right?
Actually, do
no, we're just gonna do one round. We're gonna do one round and be done.
Fall
3 cards. We're over.
Okay,
it looks like it's drag.
Not group anything.
I grouped
it.
It
looks like
it's me to go screw myself.
Yeah, it's being a little buggy.
It's moving. It moved.
Can you stop? I moved the thing. Can you stop for a second?
I was just going to work on the fall while you working.
And that's why. And this is why I don't want to
take
touch that
GM
bitch.
protections. Exactly.
That's right.
I said it.
Take off my shit.
I said it earlier, and when he was working on the rise, I was like, I got the fall.
Okay. So it's going to be weird. I'll just address it as it decides to do what it does.
It gets over there eventually.
Yeah, no, it got over there because I moved it.
I'm just going to take it.
Me and Pookie are both like, I ain't touching that bitch. Whoa! What the hell?
Where the fuck did it go?
Where did it go?
Man, y'all don't listen to me at all. I just said I'm going to grab it and pull.
No, I heard you. Right. I can't see it. I can't see it.
Well, it's far over the right because we have a lot of stuff to put in it.
Well, yeah, but now I got to zoom out.
What it's there.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I had to zoom out a little bit. There it is.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to read the text.
Yep, it's there. Text is
so damn
readable. Readable. Redeemable.
I just want to do that now because I know what will happen if not. We'll move it 1 inch every time we add a new card, and then we'll be moving the thing with it and everything else.
Maybe, possibly. You're not wrong. I'm not going to argue.
Okay, so now we have to palette, right?
Yes. Now we are at the.
Pookie, I don't like it when mommy and daddy fight.
It's okay, BCK. Go practice your knots.
So, right now we are going to be setting the palette.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Don't you have a family to observe for 2 weeks in the dark at night?
So the way the palette works is that each person goes around and we kind of pick what things we do and don't want to see in the world, the history that we were creating. So do we have the exact process on that?
I'm going to go through that now.
Most familiar.
So we set up a list of yes and no's, right? You make the 2 columns, then each player can add one thing, either a yes or a no. And
the first time somebody declines to add anything, it stops, right?
yeah, that's how it goes.
Okay.
So I'm going to make one of these cards a little bigger, if I can.
Stretch it out. Yeah. Real slowly for me. That's real big. I like it.
You want to put that on the left side of the book open?
You might
Since Pookie said I got a creepy personality now, I got to start working with that.
So, yeah, just move those down for right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm moving all over.
I got you, bro.
This is going to be a fucked up ass session. So,
Corinth, you're killing me. You're killing me.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's okay, though.
You're doing all right. It's quality content. Hey, while y'all are moving around those big index cards.
Just ungrouping because it's easier to just solo move them than
Yeah,
to
I'm just going to move everything.
I like groping too. Oh, grouping. Oh.
I was going to suggest maybe just ungrouping and moving them separately might be faster.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
going to be doing from now on. I've given up on the other method. So we are going to set the palette, and since I will be starting the game as the lens, I'm going to let one of y'all go ahead and start with a palette, yes or no.
So we just choose something we want to allow.
We want
something that you would absolutely like to see happen at some point in this microscope, or something that you do not want to have happen at all. So, like if you said no divine resurrections, it doesn't cut resurrection; it only cuts divine resurrection.
What's
or
that?
if you were to say like no demonic possession, then we'd be like, okay, well, there's no demonic possession that we can do in this story.
What's the main character's name? The one who won the Geyser?
Tashal.
How do you spell it?
Taashal.
And what are the examples of things that you can?
Things I would like to see. I would like to see prophecy.
Well, no, I meant like in the rule sets. What are the examples of things that you'd like to see and how that works?
They do the space one, so they go like no gaining of alien technology, no communication with alien technology as things they don't want. They wanted faster than light travel to be acceptable, but like I think they said limited faster than light travel or something. So it's things that you absolutely want to see happen or things that you don't. Like if we were to say, I absolutely don't want to see, like the resurrection was a good example, but I don't want to see any aether tech or magic tech. So essentially cutting out the formation of magic tech inside of this particular
Or you could say like I want the culture of the nation to have a hierarchical system based on race.
Why is my writing so small? How big do you make yours, Steve?
Or gender.
It's going to
32. I thought.
it's going to look ginormous while you're typing, and then when you click off, it gets smaller.
Ooh, that'd be okay. You could have fun with. I mean, technically, you could get a little.
All right, we're going to start with Corinth. Oh no, Tashal must perish. Okay, that is a yes.
It's a yes.
Tashal must perish. So all yeses are going to have to be in that purplish color, and we'll just do brown for the.
Oh yeah, sorry. I may have told you wrong. It's Taashal. Tashal.
Can you fix it? You
And
get
this is a mix of lizard folks and dragons, right? And probably some primal.
Well, there's Well, yeah, most of the primal went off to the Mongolian area, but not all of them.
Yeah. No, I mean, like if you were to be
I'd say it's
role-playing
probably-
in the world,
it's mostly the
mostly
prime,
lizard folk.
not the prime. What's the other one?
Proto.
It's mostly the proto.
Proto dragons.
No, the lizard folk.
Oh,
Proto-
Almost all lizard folk.
small lizard folk.
No, almost all lizard folk would be it'd be the majority of lizard folk.
Okay, and then it would have members from society from like the Khanate.
Yeah, it'd have troglodytes, scar elves, life giants. What else was in there? Acidic oozes, the primal lizard folk. Maybe even they even took in some of the somebody became the Solomon maybe, because remember they had like another navy come in too. They had there's a bunch of races. I'd say probably almost all the races could be part of the horde. So there's probably tons.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Okay.
So it wouldn't have been common for the other races, but the lizard folk are the majority.
What was Swant? You want to see?
Like I said, I'd like to see prophecy, soothsaying, stuff like that.
So the ability to divine the future, is that something that you say you want to be?
I'd like to I'm kind of envisioning a scene where like someone sees like a soothsayer or something like that, and there's prophecy.
Okay. What I mean to say is, in the reality, people can tell the future.
Sometimes, not everyone, but there are some.
Like outside of like casting a spell, it's just like some people can.
Some people have gifts.
Destiny exists or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Cool.
What font did you type in?
It doesn't matter.
I just disappeared too.
Well, I'm trying to write on the card.
How do you spell it?
Propheci.
Yeah. So now, why am I only seeing prophecy on the card and not the other thing?
Did somebody hit enter? If so, backspace back to it. Because for some reason.
How do you spell his name?
Taashal. Tashal.
And what race is Tashal?
He's a proto lizard folk.
And what's the difference between a lizard folk and a proto lizard folk?
Okay, the proto lizard folks were the lizard folks in this world. The primals were from the previous world.
The primals are more alligator.
Yeah, they're
These
bigger.
Are more of a classical, like koboldish lizard folk. No,
more like a lizard folk.
They're like regular lizard folk, but they have a reflective carapace. That's the difference between them and regular lizard folk.
Yeah.
What's the regular
something you would like to have or not have in the story?
What's a regular lizard folk look like?
A lizard folk.
They look like lizard folk. Like from
Are they like 6 foot tall lizard
yeah,
people?
yeah, 5 to 6, muscular. Yeah,
Okay.
got tails.
Okay.
Kind of think like Croc, like from Spider-Man. Kind of close to that.
Okay. I was thinking that was like the primals, so I don't know.
No, the primals are like huge and more alligator-like.
Like 16
like really
or some shit.
They're probably like 10 feet tall. They're big.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize. Okay, that's dope and intimidating. Well, yeah, I think we did talk about it. I think I just missed it again in my head. Okay. So for mine, what I want to see, I had something earlier too. Dang. Oh, no, Steve, you go there, buddy. And then I'll be right there.
Are you serious?
No, I had it. I was killing time and.
All right. The example I used earlier is actually what I wanted. Is no divine resurrection. So no clerical resurrection. Like gods can still resurrect if we do something with gods, but it can't be through a cleric. So if a god decides to step in and resurrect someone or curse someone with undeath, it's like directly done through their divine power. But no divine spellcasters can resurrect.
No intermediates. All right.
So I'm going to say clerical resurrection.
Can you add on to somebody's no, or do we only get one yes or one no, and that's it?
We keep going with this until somebody
Disagrees.
And I think that
Until someone passes? Seriously, John?
yeah.
Then it ruined it. It's gone. You passed.
No, I didn't pass. No, I had something and literally forgot it, and I remembered it while he was talking. I can prove it.
Okay, good. Then continue on.
I mentioned it before. I want a hierarchical system culturally. And originally I was thinking about what to base it on. And I was thinking, I could base it on something inane. But then I was thinking, like, you could do it as, like, it's like for some reason culturally, like, what would be important to the lizard folk? Like, is their dragon, like, line important to them?
I'm sure it is. Yes.
Okay, so then, like, the how close your blood is to a dragon?
Pure-blooded.
So, but then the dragon species would have to be really low, like the dragon, proto-dragons.
What if we say? What if we use it like a samurai? So you can only be a samurai if you have dragon blood. So it's a caste. So
it's a caste system.
You can't be a samurai if you're born with that dragon blood. Period.
Okay. Yeah.
So everyone else is just peasants.
A caste system based on dragon blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what does that do to the Khanate folk that might come through? Would they be revered in that sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you mean Khanate? I don't understand what that is.
The Khans.
You mean the Mongols?
Yeah, the
original.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because like a Chroma and all them were dragon blooded. That's why they were leaders.
If we want to make it like Rokugan, like straight up, the Mongols are unicorn. That's like they're not respected. I wouldn't say they're respected the same way. Once the actual,
they're still respected because they're of dragon blood, but they're like the outsiders within the upper echelon.
Yeah, just like
the politics has pushed them out. So they're like, no, for the keeping of our own self-identity, we have to make sure that we don't.
I think it's less the politics
in public,
and more like they're like the Mongols. They probably don't worship the same gods necessarily, shit like that, dude. So they would never be considered, even though they are samurai caste, they would never be considered true samurai by others.
Yeah, it's also their like they also have Gaijin blood. That's like a big thing, isn't it?
In Rokugan. So that's how we could do it. We can make if you're a big ass motherfucking lizard folk and you look like more like a fucking alligator or a crocodile, they're like, fuck this guy, he's got crocodile blood.
Yeah, he's got primal blood in him.
Blood, dude. Get him
tiger
out.
blood.
But the lizard folk have some kind of non-dragon blood in them too, right?
Yes. What we're saying is like maybe like
there's the
primal lizard folk are the ones that are more like the unicorn. Like
I said Gaijin blood, it's primal blood, so they're considered less than.
They
more
drink too much and fly off the handle more often.
Yeah, just like the
they're probably hyper aggressive,
barbaric. You know.
Yeah.
I like that idea though. Based on the blood, it's kind of like how Rokugan is anyway, because it's like being a samurai is based on how where your lineage comes from.
Yeah, you don't become a samurai. You're born fucking samurai.
So basing around the dragons gives us a basis for each of the clans being based on dragons. So each of their samurai schools being based on different type of dragon or dragon ability or whatever we end up doing. So it's a good idea.
All right. So next is Pookie.
All right, I'm gonna take Steve's a bit further, and this is what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Oh, he's gonna write it down first. He's like,
that's fine.
So now, so does the pink or black text matter, or?
The pink text is like if you need to have a quick reference when you look at it, pink text is stuff that's definitely good, and black text is definitely
questionable.
Like,
yeah, because like a dragon-blooded, so no magic period. Ooh.
How do we achieve that in story writing? Is all I ask. If you've got the backup for how we get there, I'm down. Well, I don't know magic like at all.
They don't
any source.
You do not practice magic within the borders of Gojira.
How about you put no spell casting then?
I want to put magic because I want them to be are they like
Luddites?
They're not Luddites, but they don't trust magic, period. So they don't know magic. That's what I want as a no. So like if somebody's shape changing, if somebody's doing shit that they don't understand, they're gonna automatically change magic.
So what?
Yeah,
given that we're in a D&D setting, we can still have supernatural abilities.
Oh yeah.
We can't have magic. And they'll not trust it either way.
Yeah, they're not. It means they're not going to practice it. It doesn't mean that there's not people running around doing it. obviously.
Okay.
But to them, I want them to be like magic is like blood magic to Rokugan. Like if you're using it, there's something wrong.
So they probably don't trust the troglodytes at all, given that the fact that the troglodytes had the fire shaman.
But I like it because it goes along with the other thing about clerical resurrection. This is the reason there is no clerical resurrection in these lands.
They just don't trust it.
Nobody's practicing magic. We could still have divine resurrection, like you want, right? Or maybe some kind of science-based resurrection or some shit, but they don't practice magic, period.
Quick cue.
I'm thinking we could base it on them thinking the end of the world happened because of magic use. Does that make sense? Like the last apocalypse is brought about by all this magical shit, so they just
what font are you guys writing at?
Think of it. You said 56, right?
I haven't.
I'm just 56.
Folk right.
56. Thank you.
I'm at Arial and I have 56 set, and that's kind of the size.
I want Kami.
So divine spirits.
Divine spirits taking animal form. I like the idea of Kamis.
Okay.
Because if they're not practicing magic, they still they would be accepting of Kami though, because that's a natural magic of the land. They may not.
So they do spooky magic, like prophecy, for instance.
Yeah, they will go find a tortoise, a tortoise that's a Kami, and they may talk to that Kami about things.
Prophecy still works because prophecy is like divination, right, John? So it's not technically magic. It's like
it's not magic. It's just divination.
So
it's a gift.
What if we do the Kami as instead of them doing animals? What if we do something different? Like maybe it's
it could be Kamis. Could be trees. It could be rocks. It could be pools.
What if it was like a race of things, like the Pikmin? Or you ever play Harvest Moon? You know the farm fairy things. The TV show with the gnome. Remember Gnome with the blue
gnomes? Yeah, David the Gnome.
Yeah, David the Gnome. Yeah, like that.
Where he turns into a tree at the end.
It's a race of people who live in concert with the nature in a way that most would never be able to see him unless you, I don't know, religiously or something.
What if since they're so close to the scar, we make these Kami actually be Fey creatures that began to escape from where the Feywild was before it was destroyed by the Disc of Judgment?
I kind of like that idea.
So in Rokugan, they think that there's animal spirits, but really they're just Fey creatures like pixies and shit like that, just making it out and representing them because they know how this culture is. They don't come out and show that they're actual Fey creatures. They disguise themselves around what their culture identifies. What do you think? Yeah, does it make sense?
I like that. Yeah. It could be different for each of the different areas based on what those things revere the most. So when people think it's almost like a self-fulfilling cycle. I like that.
Yeah.
And then if it's the escape Kamis, right? Like Fey creatures, Kamis, they're pretty much the same thing anyway.
Well, they are. I mean, spirits would be Fey indeed. So
if they are escaped from that scar period, before the scar happened, then once the scar happened, they weren't able to get back. So now they're that's how they survive. They survive off of the relationship with the.
And you can even draw this belief of no magic shit that can be drawn all the way back to when they were the Horde, because we never said the Horde practiced a lot of magic. Everything they got was ever gifted to them by powerful magical entities. They never practiced anything, even remotely close to magic. It was all.
That is actually true. They never actually, other than
we had a couple shamans. The troglodytes had a shaman. I think there was one shaman, Lizard Folk made that died, but that was
the troglodytes had an entire army of fire shamans, but they were the only ones within the entire continent that actually engaged in magic.
So it makes sense what John's saying, that these Kami have been around for a long time hiding this way because they were hiding among the Mongols first as these spirit creatures, and the culture of it just grew and they just accepted it.
I like it. That's interesting.
And do we have the burn mark, Steve?
It's not. It doesn't stretch that far over.
Okay. It's right next to it, though.
It is next to it. It's like one map section this size.
Where Demon Bear got the blown out of him?
No, where the Disc of Judgment destroyed the Lachey.
Oh no, I meant Demon Bear's fight was with.
Oh, I don't actually know where that was on the map.
We never said. I always assumed it was at that temple. I thought it was worshipped.
I just kept picturing a big clearing area where they would land to invade a place, because I thought it was Gojira they invaded.
Oh, thank you.
No, they just invaded the Horde. They just invaded the land the Hordes are in, because the Horde didn't claim any specific land. They just claimed the whole continent. Like, it just claimed the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. The Horde pretty much was the entire continent.
Now, if you want to put a city down and be like, this is where that battle happened, that would be fucking dope. Like, we could do
Well,
that.
I was thinking, what about if it was on the way to Shio Sei Shishi or outside of it, like
Maybe, yeah. If you want to mark it.
Point.
Do we want any more of these yeses or nos? Because you're up, John. Yes or no?
Yeah,
Or
you're up, John.
I'm up.
He's gonna pass like a bitch.
Pass like a bitch.
Pass like a bitch.
Now
that I've had peppermint tea, I will be nice in the wait now.
Actually, you're wrong. I'm up.
Yeah, because
John went last. I want there to definitely be a civil war.
Warlords on warlords, hell yeah.
So the end is the fall of the entire Gojira, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But there will definitely be a dark period before the shoguns or before
the fall of the empire. Gojira may continue on as something else after this.
No, what I'm saying is there'll be a dark period before the feudal states actually are formed, because that'll be like a that's what stops the wars. You know, but that's what stops the civil wars that happen.
Oh, you're
because
thinking
maybe
the formation of the shogunate could stop the civil war? I like that idea.
Yes.
It's not
Yeah,
bad.
I think it's like we learn to get along, kinda.
The civil war is between Tashal and whoever the emperor is when Tashal's trying to take power, and the ending of it is that Tashal wins and creates a shogunate to divide his power.
Or there's a great civil war going on. That's why they end up building the feudal states to begin with.
So you're just saying somewhere in here there has to be a civil war.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At least
I
one.
want to say that during this period, at no time can there be a complete peace. There's never a homogeneous state. There's always some
Homogeneous.
Homogeneous.
Specificity.
Specificity. Yeah.
Specificity.
Okay. That brings it back.
At no point in time will all the state be Gojira. There's always some fuck somewhere.
Well, yeah. There's always some asshat causing a problem somewhere.
Or yeah.
All right. Man, we got a lot of shit going on here. This is a pretty Bob Wassy kind of palette going on here.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh.
What's that one again?
Rend the...
How can you forget this one? This is the one that we spent so much time building.
No, I just
It's not
get
mythology,
them
right?
confused together.
The proto-dragon avatar that started the Geisig.
The one that's had so much story time. It's unbelievable.
The one that was trapped on
On the sun.
planet that was made by a dragon, but then got
And then
put
tore-
inside a sword themselves.
And then
after
tore herself.
came to
And it-
them with a sword to kill them, and then hid them in it so that they could come back to the planet and then come back out.
And then tore herself to pieces and threw herself down into the earth for people to find. Yeah,
That Rend.
That Ren.
So
That guy. That one right there. That mother.
the finding of Ren pieces is still going on after this period, though, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's not set when that ends.
Ren returns. It can be in any form or fashion. So
Yeah, she's probably in a weakened form.
it could be. Well, no, I mean it could be like a
It
prophecy.
could be. It could be a prophecy. It could be the pieces are reunited. She could become a true god. I mean, it's whatever, dude. Like whatever it happens. But somehow she returns before the end of the era. By the end of the era.
Yeah, by the bookend. Corinth.
Yeah.
That doesn't retcon anything, does it? Though.
Nope.
No. Plus, you can't retcon anything anyway.
Well, no, because we actually do have stuff built already past
Doesn't
this.
matter. We control the narrative, so you can always come up with a reason narrative why it happens.
We have no idea where this bookend falls in the grand scheme of things.
You know what I mean? It's not like this is a published story with like years and years of exposition and other stories about it. It's just our story.
You're not going to let us bring any outside races in?
I want only the Horde races involved, like the people who were like originally involved in. Like I just don't.
Otherwise, Gith Yankee doesn't show up.
Involved in the empire or involved in the story?
in the story.
In this story.
So you don't want. Well, see, that's going to get us from saying that a war happens with like the fucking what do we call it? The Nilrogs, the
Yeah,
fuck-
well, it means
Site
Oh, okay.
works.
everything outside of the Empire out.
Yeah, you're right. Hold on. Let me. How do I delete that shit?
I'll get rid of
I mean,
it.
you could say
Yeah.
that they're not major players, but
Yeah, I just to me, I don't want to like. Oh well, this person was assassinated by Lachey and all this stuff. Like I want it to be more a story of just Gojira.
Does it stop
Like-
Whisper involvement or Bellows involvement politically?
It would.
It would. Yeah, hold on.
Well, I mean, even
But maybe they don't even care, or maybe there's already somebody there who's part of the Empire.
I mean, the Whisper could be.
didn't the Whisper
There could be a list of folk who's a Whisper.
most of the Whisper fall apart at this point in the main overworld? Like him and Bello are both trying to rebuild.
What if you
Yeah.
say no major army can like? I don't know if that makes sense either.
Well, let me think. I might just completely scrap that whole idea.
I get what you're saying. Like I understand it, but it does limit a lot of the ideas we could have for like.
It does. You're right.
doing
Let me think.
No political interference from other
No,
nations.
I mean, political interference has always happened.
always
um,
gonna happen, yeah.
It's also part of what makes it fun.
Well, Rokugan's pretty isolated, right? Like they don't
Hold
have.
on.
What about no?
I got it.
Instead of that, make them xenophobic.
Yeah, they could be highly xenophobic.
They're already kind of xenophobic anyway because they have a caste system, so they
I
already.
want famine. I want part of the reason why they start fighting is over resources.
Well, no. That being said, like you want sometime during this thing, there has to be a famine.
famine.
Yes. I think that's part of what causes some of the Civil War issues.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna lay all that out. Those can all be laid out as cards as far as.
But that's what I'm saying is like that's something I want to see is a famine.
He wants to definitely at some point see a famine. I dig.
So,
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't have anything else. So
I think that's a pretty good palette.
as far as palettes go,
That's
I think we're gonna
pretty
move to
tasty.
the next step here. So the next step for us before we go into a focus set of play is we're doing the first pass. And right now, each one of us gets to add a period or an event inside of a period. And so a period is going to be like one major event that can have events and scenes played out inside of it, whereas events are things that happen inside of periods in particular. The person who makes that period or event or scene, we're not talking about scenes yet though, but whoever creates the period or event will also decide, is it a more light-toned event or a more dark-toned event for the story as a whole. And since we are going on the basis of me knowing the most about this, which I kind of sort of do.
Do we do a focus in the first pass?
No. In the first pass, we each just get to put one thing down, and then we go from there. I'm going to add a period of time, which isn't that side's card. It's supposed to be the upright card.
Okay,
Oops.
and so that's you decide when it is. You place it between any two other adjacent periods, and then describe the period, and then say whether it's light or dark.
Yep.
I'm going
And
to go
why
back
it's
to the
different
red
than the other
text.
periods.
And what I'm going to do is the call for a champion to enter the Great Geidzig, which I probably spelled terribly wrong, but I don't care.
I think you spelled it Gysieg.
I
You're
did.
gonna have to make that text box big and
I will get it fixed. Gysig, I think. Yep.
Sieg, yes.
Sieg. Call for a.
Okay.
Cool. That inside the box, that is the time period, and I'm of the opinion that that is a light event. Actually, no. That's
yeah,
gonna be
are you making an event or a period? I thought,
period. We don't have any periods within events could be happening yet. So that is the period.
so there's like a whole like period of time where a bunch of people all around the nation are there's like a time period for the call.
It's like people. It's like Hunger Games. We're like, I offer myself as tribute. Yeah, that kind of shit.
That or think like Mortal Kombat. Someone's going around picking the best champions. So someone shows.
Go ahead, dude. Go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say someone shows up and goes, "You guys need to pick your best person, or your best person needs to come forward," and then just leaves.
Yep.
So are you saying? So I think John. So John, were you trying to say that you think this is more an event than a period? Is that what you were saying?
I'm kind of feeling, unless this is something that's happening over multiple generations.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. I was thinking maybe this is an event that happens within a time period. Like maybe the period is like.
I was thinking more. Sorry for cutting you off, but I was thinking someone shows up and literally tells them, "Hey, you need to get champions together to enter the Geisig," and then. As a whole, these disparate warlords are trying to find their best dude to send in.
But I'm saying that like that's an event that can start one period and even transverse multiple periods. But unless like the whole nation is going into a Geisig craze, like for instance, Civil War could be a period, not because of the Civil War event, but because it's a time when a bunch of civil wars are happening.
Given the fact that there hasn't been a Geisig at this point in like 600 years. The lead up to having a Geisig might lead to several smaller wars where people are like, "Fuck you, I don't want your champion to be able to go," and they start killing each other.
So it takes years and years and years and years.
Can we do something really easy to begin of this rise and this fall here? Can we add some dates based on where we're at in the Dawn of Worlds timeline, so that this call for a champion can be put into a point on this timeline where it's not necessarily the beginning or the end? Do you see what I'm saying?
I know as you slide
as you add more stuff.
It moves around. You can add stuff before and after it.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like I get that's part of the system, but that kind of makes it hard to think about events that could have led to why this period is why they're calling for a champion for the Geyser. If we don't know when it happened. Does that make sense? So if you're saying it happened right here as soon as the desolation happened, or if it happened near the end, it will depend on what events or scenes could happen within there because other things could have happened before or after. So if we just put a date on it, it kind of matters though.
It does.
What if I don't want it to be right at the beginning?
Then you put stuff in before it.
And then it gets moved to the right.
It just moves to the right.
Okay, let's say that I get what you're saying, but if there's no other information, how do you know who could be vying for becoming a champion if none of those things
don't until we create it?
I get that, but I still feel like it should have a time and a place. Otherwise, it could vastly change what one person says to the next person, right? Am I just not understanding how this works?
It's supposed to be large and broad and expansive. We're kind of putting it in the can already by saying, like, by placing it in another world with a start and a finish that's not as broad as normal.
Yeah, like when you said period, I think of like this is the period of tribal wars. This is the period of the first 7 nations.
I feel this is an event. And there can be another event where it's like this happens, and there can be another event where it says like the final 5 face off. Or,
I get what Steve is saying. Steve is trying to say like this could be like a 10-year event where like people are
50 years for them to come back
and
go,
you're champion. Did it happen during the rise of the Gojira Empire? Then it's an event inside of the rise of the Gojira Empire.
No, it could be a period too, but the problem is if you make it a period, it could last in an indeterminate amount of time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's a cultural thing,
the period could also literally be one day. You're getting very caught up.
So you don't have
in the microscope. It says no. This is supposed to be for broad stroke stuff.
So you don't have to specify an amount of time. I guess
you don't have to specify time. Boogie. Yeah. You don't specify time. You just say like, hey, we're not exactly sure how long this takes, but this is a period of time where this is happening, and then you can put events inside of it in scenes. We don't know. We haven't established yet at what part the call for the champion actually happens in between the 2 bookends. As we put more stuff in, we'll decide when that actually happens.
And we don't have to do that right now.
No, absolutely not.
100%. Okay. All right.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yes, I'm still bumped up against there not being any kind of time here. It doesn't.
Yeah. Well, the problem is hell if we know what damn time this shit is because we haven't established. We know it's like a 200-year time period, but I don't know like what dates 200 to 400 years, like what date that is. I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just asking for like a simple number. Like if this rise over here happens at like 245 AD and the fall happens at 645.
Well, I would think the call of the champion happens closer towards the
Fall, right?
Well, closer towards whenever the Gojira feudal states begins, because not long after that is when Tashal leads the Geisig, and then he becomes the emperor.
So that'd be pretty quick. The Geisig happens within a certain amount of time, right? So like,
but yeah, it's just we're not sure when the Geisig. We're not sure how long they had to select a person for the Geisig.
I guess I see what you're saying, Steve. It doesn't matter, right? Because I can be like, I'm going to create a scene, and the scene I want is Tashal gets stabbed in the head. And I just put it on the board, and then it doesn't matter what period or what event it falls in.
As long as it makes sense, like with what you already have up there.
Well, no, that's the problem with building it in a can. It's not supposed to matter where, as long as it doesn't contradict something that's actually happened.
Yeah, because we already have a history somewhat. Yeah, I see what you're saying, John. You're totally right about that. Do you see? That's why I'm bumping up against it, because I'm like, well, that doesn't... You can't just say it happens any time, because we've already established other things already.
Yeah. Again, I feel like the call can be an event, and that event can take place over a period of time, but a period...
Period makes sense, too.
Just look, like rise of an entire empire and fall of an entire empire are periods, and they're going to be small periods. But if it's the call for a champion to enter the Geisig, we're talking about, like, children are now being raised in school to like move towards a Geisig thing, and people are moving around.
That's why.
That's a period. That's a period.
Was giving out.
Yes, that's what he's saying. Is it's not like a today this happens. It's
the example he gave me though was a guy showed up and said, and that is an event. A guy showing up. And saying,
I got you. So broadening it out more to a period, like they understand, like a call has been coming out that we are going to be forming
trying to become the great Geisig guy. It's the Wild West in a fashion of like Geisig, the American Ninja Warrior.
It's just it's also fucking with me because I don't have any basis for when it happened. So in my mind, it's weird. Does that make sense? Like I feel like so much shit would happen before that like if you're in it at the beginning.
There's a bunch of shit that you guys can definitely
also, we're not in a focus yet either. This is the first pass.
Oh, okay. So we're not talking about this right now. See, I was on the impression we were supposed to build off this right now.
Yeah, no, not right now.
No, right now. Okay. You just it's your turn.
Pookie's like, what the fuck's going on?
You put an event inside of that one. Like you could be like, literally, this is the guy who shows up and tells people about it. Or you create another period that's before or after it.
That's what confused me. I thought we were doing this
completely. No, this is a completely disconnected. Yeah, we're just putting stuff on the board, so we have a basis.
This is just like what you do when you make a pitch in a writer's room. So a bunch of people are making ideas on a board, and we're going to figure out what we're doing and what order we're putting them in.
Exactly.
Okay, because I thought what we were supposed to do is now we're all supposed to go off your idea and do things.
Oh, no. Once we go to a focus, like if you were to, let's say you put an event under the Geisig right now and you go, Jim Bob shows up and actually starts telling people about the Empire or the Geisig, right? And then when I come up as the focus, I go, actually, I want to explore Jim Bob's traveling the Empire, telling people about the Geisig. Then everything that everyone else does for that round, be it a phase or anything else, is going to...
I got confused. I thought we were doing that right now. And that's why the whole thing, I was like, I don't get like how I'm supposed to just...
I got you. Understood.
You get what I'm saying? It would be hard for me to make it 5
words. Tab, son.
Most of confusion and then brilliance. That's right. All right. Okay. So Pookie's turn.
All right. So now I can place can I place an event or a scene before I even have a period, or do you have to start?
No. You need to start with a period or a scene. What's up,
Can
John?
I clarify just real quick? Because I'm not trying to be a punk stepping on you or anything. It's okay. So this is literally what Microscope says for period. It says a period is usually the largest subdivision of the history. It is a large chunk of time, usually decades or centuries, depending on your history, like an era of feudal wars or stellar colonization.
Yeah, and so it could take decades.
Getting the Geisig together is not something that takes 2 weeks.
Well,
it's like decades.
What I'm saying is, it as in a thing defines that period of time. Otherwise, nothing else in that period of time is important as that is.
Exactly.
To like the people and the culture and the stuff and everything.
It's like knocking over water balls. Like
worship Ren. And now Ren's Geisig suddenly is back on the table. You don't think everyone's going to go, wait, our God's thing is back on the table?
I was just making to clarify.
Can you make a bigger thing than a period? Or is period the biggest thing? And can periods overlap?
Periods?
No,
periods
aren't supposed to overlap. So the call for the Geisig, if you want to have a civil war period, the call for the Geisig can't happen during the civil war period.
Yeah, it's probably
But that Civil
it
War
probably-
during the guys.
But you can put events in that lead to the Civil War period, or you could put events in that.
So if this was our timeline, I could be like, I'm moving Steve's timeline.
yeah,
Yep.
over.
Yep, and put a Civil War in front of it. Definitely.
Sorry, dude, it won't let me like actually move it.
And there's no nesting in the.
Anyway, sorry, I wasn't trying to fuck it up. I was just an example.
You're good.
Is that supposed to be dark?
Yes.
Yeah, I made it dark because
Which
I
would
think
make
it's going to lead to
Civil
people
War.
murder fucking each other to death.
Yeah, there might be a Civil War in
It's
here.
not going to be friendly.
Maybe there's a famine. Maybe it's a man-made famine where they stop feeding the people to see who the strongest is. There's all kinds of ideas we could use.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I like
just
it.
what we've written over here is some cool shit. Okay, so I'm going to create a period. So I just copy the card.
Yeah. I'm going to put a couple cards on the bottom so they're easy to drag, and so
I'd highly
just
appreciate that.
like a barrel. So
Are you going to add descriptions too?
I can add the descriptions if y'all want me to.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, how it changes the nation or whatever. What's the big thing about it?
Yeah, I'm going to put notes on the cards, unless someone else wants to put notes on the cards.
Did I ask already if we can nest in the first pass? Or no?
You said something about nesting, but I didn't hear an answer.
No, you're just doing a first pass.
All right. What you thinking, Pookie? Oh, the splitting of the horde.
How do I grab one of those tokens?
You just grab it. It should
Oh, with
be-
the cursor.
Yeah,
It's
you
not-
left click, hold down, and drag.
How do you put it on top of the
dark or
card?
white? You just set it on top of the card. Is this going under? Oh, it's going under. You right click into front. There it is.
So the horde held on for a while after the epoch stuff.
Yeah, to me, the first part of the age, the first period is the actual splitting of the horde into separate nations or separate divisions or tribes.
You think that's
Do you want to?
I think it's
call
a
that
period.
the fracture?
I think it's a no. I want to be light, so I thought splitting was better. I want to be like amicable, like they decide that they want to divide their lands. It's like a peaceful or it's a multi-beneficial a reason that they do it.
The amicable parting.
Yeah,
The
so-
amicable. Yeah, that's why it's splitting and not fracture.
Yeah, maybe they feel like it's better for defense. Maybe they feel like it's better for camaraderie. Maybe it's just a base agreement. Whatever it is, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Well, this is where you can say what it is. Like, this is where you get the chance to go, like, the general sense of why they did it is this.
I thought that's when we start going with the focus.
You do, well, no, the focus just is the person at the beginning, and they could be anything. They could say Tashal. That means every single time this turn, somebody has to do something that relates to Tashal.
Okay, they decide to split the horde into how many? Is it 4 nations on the other map? Four.
Yeah.
They turn into 4 nations.
Okay, they turn to 4 nations because they feel for defense, it would be better to turn to 4 separate nations that they can govern themselves. Instead of having one giant horde that moves nomadically, they want to settle down to 4 separate nations. The only tribe that feels like they still want to be nomadic and doesn't necessarily set up cities is the primal lizard folk. The rest of them start setting up cities. So the primal lizard folk stay nomadic, Mongol-like, and the rest of them decide to start setting up fortifications and stuff. But that was really for split. It's for
I like
defense.
that.
Mm.
I like that.
All right.
All right, John or Corinth?
Let's take it. Oh, let's see. Let's see. And period. Let's get my colors in there. Let's see. I get this text to move. If you'll move that text for me, I'd highly appreciate that because thing's being a pain in the ass. Actually, I can probably click it like this and move it. Oh, thank you. All right, so yeah, the splitting of the horde. It's all amicable for a while. Actually, the nations actually break up pretty well. But Gojira eventually finds itself, possibly due to a famine. We're not really sure yet, but something causes a massive civil war. And obviously, it's a very dark time. And in my eyes, like I kind of what Steve said earlier, the call for the Geistig is strong enough to end the civil war, but it clearly doesn't mean peace. There's never peace fully in Gojira. But maybe instead of like just outright warfare with civil wars, now you have assassinations. Now you have people posturing and stuff like that. That's my thoughts.
Okay.
Pass to John.
Okay, and I just copy and pasted the wrong directional
Just
thing.
grab one. I
Like a
put a bunch
tool.
of cards down there for you to grab.
I'm now learning how to move it while move the map. Okay, let's see. I had an idea between these two.
Which
But I
two?
also want
Okay.
to just create something else towards the latter half, like post rule or during rule. I don't even know. And so what I'm gonna do, lizard people have claws, right?
Sure. Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, but, well, yeah,
legitimately asking. I
in
really
D&D,
need a picture of one.
bite attack. It's a bite attack. Yeah, you can give them claws. Doesn't really matter. They have natural weapons. It's the best
Yeah.
way.
Well, no, I just meant for like I was thinking about naming a period of like fascist authoritarianism, and I was going to name it the Iron Claw. But if they don't got claws, that's kind of like
They do have claws. They have nails.
how about I'm gonna put it the time of the Iron Vice,
Nice.
and the reason is because the okay, somebody else can type that. I'm doing too many things, and I'm not about to. He's starting to mess with font colors for a minute and a half. So the idea is, whatever the ruler is, the ruling class becomes paranoid and of foreign influence and of losing their power, and they begin to clamp down hard over a period of time against dissidents, all the way up to like Nottingham.
So you're thinking like this is post 13 states. This is like emperors out of control, kind of.
Either Emperor, or Emperor 2, Emperor 36, somebody.
Yeah, somebody out of control.
Because we don't have the fall of Gojira technically in our world yet. So it could be, that's one thing that could be, who knows?
Yeah, it could be a
Is
while.
that a light or dark event?
I'm going to go ahead and say it's dark.
Like,
No, it's light, dude.
Yeah,
Fascism is good.
fascism is good.
Actually, yeah. It's light because if you look at the statistics of it, murders down, crimes down to like 2%.
I hate you so much.
Everything's
After all
good,
the
though, because
undesirables are gone, there won't be any crime, John.
Crap.
But that's the problem because it'll never be a homogenous state. So no matter how much they try, it doesn't work. There's always partisan rebels somewhere. But yeah, so they
Undesirable.
not in Nottingham, like the most depressing Disney song ever.
It is, but it's a great movie. All right.
The guy did trailers for Sale or Rent. Roger Miller.
You keep talking like I watch movies all the time, you damn movie critics. By the way,
It was good.
Pookie and John are working on film critic stuff for more content on the channel, so it's going to be kind of like, is it almost like Mystery Science Theater 3000, but like y'all spin on it?
No, it's a lot of it's me complaining about things.
So is it like Siskel and Ebert? Like, is that more of what it is? Like, this sucks.
It's more of just John's like reaction to everything, and me like explaining to him like what.
But that's because the first thing we watched, I hadn't seen, and he had, and the whole point he had going in was wanting to see my reaction to things.
So, did you say that was a dark or light event?
Oh, it's dark.
It's dark.
It's dark. In fact, I will veto light fascism any day.
Something wrong with a little bit of light
All
fascism.
the stats look better.
A little bit of low fat fascism, dude. Come on.
I'm just saying, Gojira's got a lot of dark periods here, man.
After 90% of the population was killed, the happiness of the rest of the 10% left went through the roof.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
so now we are going into the standard format of play, right?
Yep.
So what we start with is there's a person who is the lens, and that person will pick the focus. Since this is our first time running it as a group, and I've done this before, and apparently they say the person with the most experience should go first. I'll be going first. And what we're going to do is each one of us will describe a scene, a event, or possibly even an entirely new time period that has some relation to the thing that I picked for our focus.
Okay.
After we all get our turn at doing this, we pick the person to my right.
So it'll be the last person who went before you, right before you. Since that's
So-
what
Yeah. The person to my right then chooses one particular thing that was discussed during that focus as a legacy, and then that person gets to explore that legacy with an event or a scene or a dictated scene.
yeah.
And then the new lens comes
Dictated.
up, whoever is next. So that's what we're going to be doing. And honestly, I'm kind of interested in the Civil War, so I'm going to pick the Civil War as our focus.
Okay.
And that means I have to create something that revolves around the Civil War.
So you definitely got to pick an
Event or
event
a
because
You can pick a scene too, right?
an event or a scene. I'm going to go ahead and add an event. And need to find the little text box here. And for the event, I'm going to say black dust from the north sweeps through Gojira,
Where are you at?
blighting.
the event underneath Civil War.
No, I'm not seeing text.
It's not yet because I haven't finished typing it. So, do you remember how we said that the black dust at the north and south poles of the world is kind of negative energy based?
Oh yeah.
So something stirs the dust up in the north, and as it sweeps across Gojira, it blights the crops across Gojira. So that is one of the events inside of the Civil War time frame. And with that,
So
Cool.
what? Okay. So all the crops got blighted.
yeah, all the
Or at least a
crops-
lot. That's what causes the famine.
Yeah.
All right. So is it Pookie's turn next?
It's John's turn, right?
John's turn.
Okay.
Okay.
Follow the order of the cameras. It's
Just
kinda
go counter-
we're sitting at the
counterclockwise.
table.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I had to go back to the Switch stream. Uh-oh.
So you can do an event, a period, or a scene
So
that
you can now
relates
create.
to the Civil War.
You can create a. See, but how does that work? If a period can't overlap another period, how do you create a period within inside a
You
period?
could talk about a period that because of the Civil War.
Otherwise, like this, I could go to the period, the call for the, or no, I could create another. No, I couldn't create another period because that's too specific or too not
could.
related.
But it has to be before or
another
after.
period existed,
Yeah.
or like in the period of the
Directly
call for the
Before or
call,
after.
I could say, or even
Directly though, right?
five periods later, I could say,
Oh, yeah, I guess you
brownstone
could.
was discovered from
Yeah.
the Civil War, and
That's an event, though. That's not really a period.
that's an event. Yeah.
But
That's
you
what
could say
Like,
5 periods later, the crops return. Like there's like the black dust turns everything into overgrowth of food or some shit.
Yeah.
That you can do. All right. God, that's confusing though, dude. This game's supposed to be simple.
It's supposed to. No, it's not so much with the dust. Anything you do throughout the entire thing should be focused on the Civil War.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
I'm gonna take a leap here then, and I'm going to do an event.
Motherfucker's feeling froggy, bro.
And the focus person, you didn't nest anything, Steve? You're the one that gets to nest this round, right?
I didn't
Explain what nesting means.
What's nesting?
So whenever you make a period, if you have an event inside the same period, you can nest it and build it at the same time. Or if you have a scene, you can build it directly into the event. Otherwise, as soon as you build the event, you can say, also, I want this scene to happen, and we're going to go into the scene.
And that's nesting.
Okay, that's nesting. There,
Yeah.
for all the people at home or your other people who don't
Well,
quite fucking know what that
nesting
means.
is a verb.
We're experts on periods.
It means to put something inside of something, like a nesting doll.
Like those Russian dolls.
Yeah, that are called nesting
I'm
dolls.
going to fit 4 Russian dolls inside John before this night's over.
Do it for yeah. We're
As
gonna
long
make
as
that
they're
bitch a period.
As long as they're each inside each other and not each
Yeah,
outside
it's
each other,
one doll.
it'll be okay.
Dolls inside of it.
We'll use the fourth smallest one.
It's
One of those sets that has like 11.
2 liter. It's a doll the size of a 2 liter bottle.
That's right. You didn't see how big the dolls had to be.
Okay, so, because it's so easy to concentrate.
Sorry.
I had a thing, and I was
Poor Steve's just. I think Steve's got this mental picture of like these giant 2-liter nesting dolls being shut in his ass.
I was gonna
let John actually focus, please.
Sorry.
I was gonna
ADD.
take a swing, and actually, I was gonna do an event here at the end game, or I'm gonna put it near the end. Obviously, the other events can still happen after it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that like a grand that I gotta actually make stuff make sense, right? So
Not necessarily. No, I mean, really, if you just want to put an event in, we can figure out how it makes sense later.
Oh yeah, that's what we do with resolution. Is we just figure out how this shit happens.
The T-1000 comes back from time and murders T'Challa. And not turn into firearms, knives, and stabbing weapons.
Yes, Temporis sends back a temporal agent to slaughter T'Challa.
You thought the T stands for Terminator, but it stands for Temporis Model 100.
how do I adjust the size of the text box?
You hit enter and then it shifts it down.
Mine just shifts the text up.
Shit,
Yeah, it will come back after you're done.
Oh, okay.
Even though
55.
the text disappears, it comes back once you're done typing.
Yeah, I don't like that disappears either. It kind of freaks me out.
Like, oh no.
Yeah,
Oh, my hard work.
I had the same problem at first when we were fucking with it tonight, and then I just went with it one time and it worked, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
The Grand Uniter.
Is that
That's a nice way of saying fascism.
Man, that says uniter. I thought it said unifier.
Yeah, the T does look like an F almost.
Yeah, it is Uniter.
Just
I was just like, how about like
Unifier almost sounds better.
Just pit Lizard Hitler.
Lizard Hitler?
Littler.
Littler?
Okay, so in
Or
the thing
Hizzard.
it says that
It's not like Lizard better.
in the thing it said, like you guys are thinking something different than what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay, so in the thing it says that I just do a little short thing when I write it down, but the description I give you guys is the important bit. So this is the idea I have. So at some point in time, like in this event specifically, there is a leader, and this leader is actually a commie or somebody under the influence of a commie, and that person is using some form of what is that called? Glamour.
Okay.
To help him gain all of this power, and it's almost like the Yellow Turban Rebellion kind of thing, or like Yusenji Kenshin in the Oda period, where it's just a bunch of peasants and everybody's rising.
How does that relate back to the Civil War, though?
It's the end of the Civil War. That's what stops the warring period of the states. That's why I said I'm taking a swing. I'm going to go straight to the end there. Boom.
But the Civil War is all in one period, so like you have to that event has to be in that period.
It's the Civil War.
It is the bookend of the period. It would be the bottom of it.
It has to relate to.
Yeah, that's why I was
Oh,
confused.
you were dragging over there. Okay, gotcha.
You guys specifically said periods cannot go over other periods. So that means this
Yeah.
Civil War stops before the Call of the Champion to Infinite.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say before.
Oh,
Yeah.
you moved it over. Okay, sorry. It was under the Vice thing that threw us
Oh
off.
no. This is under the Civil War.
But this
That's
is how
the part I use.
your idea could work, John, if your idea is the Uniter becomes Uniter because he was involved in the Civil War, and then after it ended, he joined the fascist state. But that's not what you just said.
No, he moved it over.
Oh, you moved it over now.
That was confusing me.
But
But
that
you
was just the card that was up there.
Oh, I got
and
you.
it goes to
Okay.
fill in.
But you
That's
could,
what was confusing.
Yeah, but for my example, I'm
you
saying
could have. Yeah.
you could have done that. You could say a guy from the Civil War period ends up in this other period and does this as an event
Yes.
from the Civil War period.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
But-
I get what you're saying. Like
Okay.
somebody who had sway from back in the time period or something.
Yep.
So this is actually a light. This is actually for the better. I wonder if this
Yeah.
basic guy is so good.
Yeah, maybe he's
All
not.
right.
Maybe T'Challa is the Grand Uniter. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Oh, I mean,
Your turn.
he's commie influenced. I was thinking about it being a commie.
I can't call you BCK, dude. I can't.
It's okay, man.
Dude. I'm just gonna call you D. You should be BDK. That's better, man. Big dick.
I don't know if that's any better.
Bull dick corn. Yes.
So,
Whew. Okay. Let me just,
Corn.
now it's Corinth.
yeah. Let's see.
Damien's spirit animal is a minotaur.
It is a Minotaur.
Fucking minotaur.
I even got one on my arm. Like that's how much I like Minotaurs.
It's just you, dude. That's your personality.
It is big, woolly, and
Big woolly and
horny.
fucking mean, dude. Oh yeah, and horny. That's why you gotta take his dick as a trophy. It's gonna
So he kind of needs to take his turn, though.
Yeah, I'm working on. I'm
man.
typing. I know what I'm doing.
Oh, you know, okay. Well, like distract other people.
Yeah, I'm good.
This is an entertainment show.
Well, yeah. Well, that's why you can engage with me. Am I not pretty enough for you? You can't talk about
No.
my dick.
I'm not into twinks, dude. I like a man with meat on it.
Okay, guys.
I don't see how that is material that is improper.
It's not a matter of improper. I want Corinth to work, and you guys
Twinkies.
are feeding
Yeah.
the wrong side
Like
of his brain.
And here's Twink, and his brain just starts
At
working.
that point in time, though, he's engaging me. That's his fault. His fault.
The great Twink rebellion.
So with the scene, it says that we set up a whole thing. So that's gonna be.
So this is a character.
Yes, but I can't get it to get in there.
Hit enter. Actually, I got DM. So dope.
Thank you. And
Did you say
actually?
what? Somebody direct messaged you? Or you are the DM, is that what you said?
yes, yeah,
It's good enough.
there, we're good.
Assassinated.
It won't let me delete it. Oh,
It's
I'm
fine.
using the wrong keyboard. That's why.
What are you doing?
Keyboard.
I hit enter like you do at the end of any text block to like close it out and confirm, and of course it split the two words. Because originally it was assassinated.
Yeah, I hate when I get acidated.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
worst.
terrible time.
it is
It's the worst.
No one sees those Russian dolls coming.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, that's great.
Is the
Fascinating.
coming the problem or the going the problem?
See that was a call.
After you latch on with your vice grip, that's hard to get.
Okay. So,
Okay.
Moto, the Shadow Heart, is assassinated. I'm assuming Moto is one of the leader type people.
Yes, and he is an asshat. Like,
Can you give us like the specifics?
He is killed in his sleep.
Killed in his sleep.
Does anyone know, like, what? Out of curiosity, what kills him? Like, just poison or
No, he is stabbed.
stabbed
He is stabbed by
an assassin?
an assassin.
Okay.
Assassin!
And he lives or he dies.
Oh, he's.
I mean,
He is assassinated.
I think the agent covered that part, dude. The agent assassinated. Past tense, he's dead as fuck, bro.
Thank you. Oh, fuck. I know you're assassinated, but did he live?
No,
Shadowheart is almost assassinated.
I was just looking through a list of specific stuffs, but then
kind of assassinated.
No. You said he was stabbed, and so my mind moved to he was stabbed, and then I thought for some reason it was written he was stabbed, not he was.
Yeah, he was stabbed.
I'm the one who retyped the damn word.
He was stabbed in a precise location on his body that ceased his living.
Yeah, his injuries were not. He had injuries that were not. Oh gosh, what's the word? Anyways, he was dead.
He was unattainable. Life was unattainable.
Yeah. There's
maybe John's right. Maybe he lived through the stabbing. Maybe that wasn't the end of the assassination. Maybe they Rasputin this motherfucker, bro. They're like poison, hanging, stabbing.
Actually, that's
around this bitch. It's a scene. We could do the scene.
Well, it's an event, so you can do anything under it. The event can technically be like a whole night of him.
No, it took years. It was like 20 years.
He's like, they keep trying to fucking kill me, bitches.
You could do a whole manga series on this motherfucker, bro. 200 issues before he got his.
Yep. All right, so now we got
people through paper. I made everybody wear my outfit.
Was that everyone's turn?
No,
Pookie. The Pookster. No. What the hell is that phrase now? Oh, injuries incompatible with life. That's the phrase.
That is the most insurance phrase for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're like, do CPR? I'm like, that's a head wound. Like, he's missing his head.
But
that's an injury incompatible with life.
There are procedures. No, Carlin had a bit similar to like the euphemism treadmill of things.
Oh, yeah.
And how like everything becomes more dry and less humane. Like at the end of World War, I and World War II, it was shell shock, and like that. That delivers the message, shell shock, and then like it became, before it was post-traumatic stress disorder. There was like 3 or 4 other terms in there, and each one of them it was like more syllables, less human, more scientific.
Yeah.
And then you just do it until it's like, incapable of further lung compression. What happened? He drowned.
T'Challa's father, Kumo, takes power after winning the Civil War.
Can somebody fix that? I can fix
it. somebody makes that shit work, please, because I'm incapable. And I'm not cracking on Pookie because fuck, I couldn't do it either. So, look, I'm here for the brainstorms. I'm not here to make things pretty. That's not why I'm here. And is it light or is it dark? Is the question. Oh, T'Challa's daddy is not a good person. Which opens up the intrigue. Will he feel, pissed off once his son wins the Geisig? Does he not realize that his son, does he try to get him into the Geisig thinking that he'll be a pawn? There's a lot you can play with that. That's
was
pretty good.
T'Challa's father the Grand Uniter who ended up being not such a Grand Uniter?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's good stuff. All right, so
right now, since we're at the end of the focus, I get to do one more thing. Then Pookie is going to pick a legacy. He can explore that legacy if he wants to.
And that's where I can dictate a scene or create an event that can't be changed. Is that what that means?
Oh, none of the events can be changed. So
Okay.
every event that's down is solid. When you pick a legacy, you pick something that happened within this set of stuff that came out that you're interested in. So maybe you're interested in Tishal's father, or you're interested in the Grand Uniter, or maybe the Assassins. You pick one thing and that you make that your legacy. And you get to dictate a scene or an event anywhere that revolves just around that thing. So you might choose Tishal's father, and then in the splitting of the Horde, you might tell us something about an event that Tishal's father was involved in back then, or something to that effect.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, you can move anywhere around time at all with legacy, all the way. It's almost like your own focus.
Yeah.
Is it the Grand Uniter, not the Grand Uniter?
Is Uniter.
Okay.
It's Unifier, Uniter, whatever. I mean, the name is irrelevant.
Now,
I was trying to cap it.
I'm curious, when you say a large swath of the nation, do you mean like just people or actual figures of power?
Like 80% of landmass, like the Yellow Turban Rebellion. Like people in power submitted to it, because if they didn't, then the tar feather slap you in the public shaming / cancel culture, as they call it nowadays for some reason.
Does anyone remember the name of the Order of Acidic Assassins?
That's a long time ago.
Yeah,
That's age 1, right?
yeah, that's age 1. I just went through all of age 1 and I couldn't find
Hold on, let me go.
Is it the Acidassins?
I'm trying to remember when they even freaking came about. Good lord.
What's his name made him to go kill the Weave? What the fuck was his name?
Oh, like Skarn, Chroma.
Oh, it's Chroma.
He made Chroma made them to kill a Morka.
Before
Maybe early.
yeah, it'd be like some ancient like order shit, bro. You gonna bring them back up? That's so hot. Like they did and they survived, bro. That's awesome.
I was trying to find the name. I couldn't find it though.
All right, hold on. I think I might be close to it.
Okay.
Thank God for notes.
Yeah, I've been going through my notes, trying to find them. So he creates the vat of acid blood.
It's after that.
Yeah.
Turning them into acidic. So the Kimpo are the acidic shadow forms. Kimpo.
It's a Japanese word, so it all makes sense.
Kimpo.
So wait, Steve, are you saying these are like the ninja that don't exist in society, but they do exist in society? Because like in Rokugan, there is no technical ninja. Like,
yeah,
they're just bedtime stories and shit.
Yeah.
Call him the Foot, bro.
So, are we saying that the father is the Grand Uniter?
Oh, we're not sure yet.
We are. Well, no, I'm saying, because if we are, does that mean that this would literally be an event where he like formally takes power? Or
Steve's making up his event now, so whatever it is.
Oh, a second.
He put another card down there. And he's tapping away.
Tapping away, tapping away.
So they kill the Grand Unifier?
No, right now they resurface. They have not yet killed.
Can I suggest something?
What?
Yeah, you can delve into that.
Can we move Moto the Shadowheart down to under the Kempo resurfaces, and can we make Moto the Shadowheart the Grand Uniter?
Is there any rules for that, or like I don't care?
I'm just kind of doing what we usually do in Resolution. I'm just building off Steve's idea here.
Yeah.
And that John didn't name the Grand Unifier, and we all thought Moto the Shadowheart was a bad guy. But what if it was a bad guy who was bringing everybody together in the eyes of the people?
Him being assassinated might be what pulled the people together.
So maybe Grand Unifier is like a euphemism for we killed the fucking piece of shit who was taking over the land. and that brought
You
everybody.
can explore that in a scene under the Grand Unifier.
Well, I have my idea for my legacy.
Yeah, I was wondering if
This is
actually,
yeah.
I was going to say,
If y'all want to readjust some of
could-
this, I'm open to us readjusting. I
could the
just
tempo resurface? If like you're doing that to kill the Grand Uniter, if you're going to take the Grand Uniter as a thing and put it in an event, and it's going to have a bunch of scenes under it, then do you just want to have them offing him be the last scene of that event?
Of the assassination?
You know what? Since the Grand Uniter bringing everyone together kind of already means he's risen, it makes sense that you guys are right. I'm not going to argue that.
Well, the way I'm seeing it now is like the time period of the Civil War seems to be actually something playing out where, Roll20 just told me to go screw.
Yeah.
Where there could be multiple rises and falls of leaders throughout this whole period. Actually,
Oh, I'm sure.
Very true. Very true. I was just thinking it would be cool if like an idea we already had, somebody else had, now turns into this other idea because John had this idea of a Grand Unifier. Like that doesn't mean a person even. John just said Grand Unifier. Could be
I was like,
two.
the only requirement I had was that it was kami related in some fashion. Like either it is a kami posing as something, or it's a kami that's like working with, like it's a fey creature, a fey type thing, working with someone to, like, I don't know what purpose.
I got
It's great destiny.
That's not what I wanted my event to be. Fuck, I got a couple ideas of what it could be. I just had a great idea of what it could
Here
be.
we go. I reworded that a little bit.
Oh yeah, I like it.
They
Why you
did,
find a way?
Because
they did a whole.
so are the Kimpo basically the Scorpion clan? Is that kind of like what I'm seeing here?
They're acid assassins. They
Yeah.
turn to pools of acid and.
But what I'm saying is they kind of like how the Scorpion clan is. Like they're like people are scared of them, they hate them, but they actually do what's best for the world in general.
You know what you're doing right there? You know what you just did? It's perfect. So now the Scorpion of our Rokugan are from the Acid Dragon because the Kimpo were the first ones of their clan to do something to help the region without doing something honorable.
I have a question.
It's right there. It's in the story now, right? It's a basis for a whole. It's done. Perfect.
What you got, John?
I forgot it.
John's like, God damn the ADD.
Yeah, no, for real.
My question is, what the fuck was I thinking before I said I have a question?
Oh, yes. Thank you. It was a question. That's all I needed. Okay. The acid symbiote relationship with the dragonkind folk.
That was the weave.
Yeah, but
You
I'm
mean
saying, remember we talked about how like your personal acid thing was like passed down by, this is like pre all this.
Yeah.
And so like you have this identification to this lineage based on like your symbiote.
Yeah, I mean, even like when we create the House of the Acid Dragon, we can even do something like that where like you're part of the House of the Acid Dragon because you do have a symbiote, maybe.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was wondering. Like, does a symbiote come into play?
Yeah, I would.
Oh, I'm sure. Absolutely.
That'd be awesome. I think, or maybe you only get the symbiote if you're a specific class or cast of samurai within.
Yeah, like they don't all have it. Maybe their samurai are the only ones who are allowed to have the actual acid.
Maybe the only samurai houses like they're ninjas are the only
It's
ones.
like a katana to a normal person.
Yes.
Like, instead of a katana, they would be like a sure actor. Like they have.
I have passed down my sentient ooze to my son. I am out.
Yeah,
I'm done.
See, but that's like I don't know if you call that event. That's a scene, right? Like what you just said right there. That would be.
Has muscle memory.
Yeah, it's kind of like what the trill or the trill from Star
But that's
Trek.
a scene that would take place pre the bookend, technically. The
Yeah,
very first
it's
one.
more like just flavor for something that you would put in game. That what you just said right there. It's more like if you were designing it as a game mechanic.
Yeah.
So
Alright,
we could do a scene.
I have my idea for my legacy.
You could create a scene for that.
So the
What's
legacy,
your legacy?
the legacy could be an event, right?
No, when you pick a legacy, first you pick one of these things that, like, I had the
I'm
box in there.
moving it for a reason.
Yeah, I know.
I promise. I'm moving it for a reason.
I know the event I'm picking.
Later.
So do I just put a scene within that event, or do I just describe what happened in that event? That's the legacy part of it.
You put a vertical box.
You pick the legacy for yourself, so we're gonna just set one box here. We'll write Pookie at the top of it, and that's gonna be your legacy. The next time I am the lens, you
one
can
legacy.
either use the legacy you had from before and expound further upon it, or you can pick a new legacy.
And this legacy,
But now that you have a legacy, you can do either an event with that legacy anywhere in the storyline, as long as it explores that legacy item that you picked, or a scene that has something to do with that legacy. And the word legacy, don't get too caught up on that. Whatever you pick, like let's say you pick the Kenpo, then you could do a scene or an event anywhere in the expansive timeline there.
and I can do that right. I can hit my event right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it can even be.
you have to tell us what your legacy is first.
Okay, and can that event directly affect one of these? Because that's what my event does.
It can't change anything.
Here, I can.
No,
read
it's
it.
not a change. It's an explanation for why something happened.
Sure, if it's an event or a scene. A dictated scene could give you explanation, so yeah. What legacy are you picking, brother?
I don't just type it out right here.
I was just going to type it on this box for you.
Okay, Alcatos gives the ability to Kumo to affect negative energy, and Kumo is the one who creates the black dust famine that goes through Gojira. And creates
Wait, one second. What is...
Alcatos is the genie,
Alcatos is the Afridi.
All right,
and he's talking about the black dust.
so you're picking Kumatos?
It's just Kumo. That's supposed to be Kumo and then takes.
Kumo takes.
Supposed to
Oh,
be.
Kumo.
Supposed to be-
Okay. I just fucking decided that was a whole fucking name. All right, so your legacy is Kumo.
Ah, Kumo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you pull the Kenpo out, John?
Oh, because later I'm gonna put a scene under it. So.
Oh,
think I
okay.
might as well. I mean, when
So
I
he's just doing it now.
do
It
something.
still has to be there, and then we just have to move everything down, dude. Otherwise, it's under the Great Geisig thing.
Man, everything needs to be moved further out. This is crazy.
Alcatos masquerading as a Fae gives him the power to control negative energy, and he uses that power to sweep the black dust down through Gojira, creating the famine.
So-
Creates the Civil War.
So Kumo is actually the reason why the whole Civil War starts, basically.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that's like a dictated scene you're putting? Where are you putting that under the black dust? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, under the black dust one.
So I'm gonna try something crazy, and it's not gonna work. But
We're trying something crazy.
Oh, it worked.
It worked.
You
Yeah.
didn't group anything either. You just grabbed it all and made it.
yep.
That's so
Holy
silly.
shit.
So fucking silly. Everybody watching,
I
you're
guess
not having a
my
hard time.
legacy is
reading
Kumo is given the
cards.
power to control negative energy. That's my legacy?
Your legacy is Kumo himself.
Kumo, got you. Okay.
Or it could be the black dust, or it could be the thing he gives him. It just means that whenever you're doing it again, you're doing it across like that thing across all time.
So I have to ask, in that scene, I mean, Alcatos gives that power. What does Alcatos get, like, ask for in return, or what is the, like, how do they meet?
How do they meet?
I have a better idea.
I can dictate a scene, yeah?
Yeah. It's a scene, so you
For
can
dictating a scene, you state the question yourself, and then you decide where to put the scene in history review, which is what we've already done there.
Okay,
You
so
narrate the answer to your own scene question.
okay, so the scene between them, where I have the idea for why this all happened. So when Kumo's child is born to Shaw, his child is very, very sick. So he searches for magic outside of Gojira because magic's not allowed to save his kid. And what Kumo does here by using this black dust, this was not actually his idea. This was the price for saving Tashal's life, for giving him the ability to not die as a baby, so he would live. He had to do something that Alcatos wanted him to do, and this was the thing that Alcatos wanted him to do, was to spread this famine throughout Gojira.
So he basically sacrificed his own people for his child.
For his child. Yeah.
I like it.
Hmm.
I like it.
So it's dark it's light and dark almost.
It was for
It's dark.
It was a selfish decision for moral reasons that most people would possibly do. That people
Oh yeah.
And I got the idea because like every great story, dude, that's what you should be like thinking when you're hearing somebody tell a story. Like if you would do the same thing they did, like why did the thing they did? It should be.
I'm not going to lie. Like as a parent, the amount of atrocities I would commit to protect my children it's really not good.
And there are some parents who would not commit atrocities to protect their children. So it works both ways. So it's a real compelling reason for Kumo to be a character that's not just bad or good. Right?
So
bad
he gains the ability from Alcatos.
Yeah, but Alcatos says you have this ability now, and I'm going to save your child, but you need to use this ability to, I guess, he maybe tells him not to destroy Gojira, but to bring Gojira to war. So maybe he didn't even tell him specifically to use the dark energy, but he
didn't tell him at all. He
probably didn't know.
And him moving around just.
Yeah, I mean, however we want to do it. If you don't want to give him control of the energy, that's fine too. But this was his fault. Like this whole thing is Kumo's fault, which basically makes it all to Shaw's.
Well, you get to pick. That's the thing. Well, you get to ask a question, which is like, why did Alcatos give Kumo the ability to influence black dust, which sets up all of your things as facts, even though you haven't had to state them, and then you answer by going, well, he did it because he wanted him to cause a famine, and it was in exchange for saving his son's life.
Well, also, it would make sense that Alcatos wants to gain a way into the society, so therefore he had to weaken the society. Because Alcatos is kind of an asshole.
Kind of what I said, right? Like he told to do it in exchange for his son's life. So he has, he now has the ability to control negative energy.
Yeah.
I mean, Kumo does.
Yeah. And it also owes, there's a favor to be had later. Like he may be able to call upon a favor, like, hey, I can take back this anytime I want to until the Geisek happens.
Now is that magic?
Yeah, it's magic.
It's actually the supernatural ability of the Ifrit. It's like a wish. Ifrit can grant wishes.
I don't mean that. I mean his ability to control negative energy.
Yeah, it's something that he should not be using where people could see him. Right? It's like blood magic. It's like what
the hell they call blood magic and freaking
starts with
L5R?
It's Maho. It's Maho.
Maho. It's Maho. Thank you. It's like Maho.
If anyone saw him doing this, or if he's like in battle and using his powers and shit, they're going to know that there's something wrong with him.
And they're going to probably try to kill him, realistically. Because that's just not okay.
Okay. Cool.
I hope everyone's enjoying this. Like I don't know if it came out or not. I had to refresh my stream, but I asked, do you guys prefer us doing this over Dawn of Worlds? Like, we'd like some feedback to see what you guys think.
Well, so this is going to be a little bumpy because it's the first time I've ever experienced this at all.
Yeah, it's really my first time doing this. So.
Yeah, but hey, I think we're doing pretty well. I know we should probably get a break real soon, just so people can
actually. Since we just finished one of the focuses, and John is going to be our next lens, so he's picking our next focus. If we take a break right now, 5-minute break.
5 minutes.
That'd be a good time frame.
Okay. I'll see you all in 5.
All right, I'm Winnie Poohing it, by the way, so can you turn off the stream before I stand up? Because I'm completely naked.
Okay. So what you're saying is I have you hostage in your seat.
I'll say it is, I'm not wearing any...
Welcome back.
Welcome back! Somebody interrupted their cigarette break.
I just didn't have one.
Oh.
Damn! 2 hours without a cigarette. What are you gonna do, bro? Back when I smoked, I'd be fucking smoking the whole time.
I'm not worried about it.
All right, so it's now John's turn to be the lens. What? Oh, Wheel of Morality. Turn. Tell us a lesson that we should learn.
What? It's my turn.
My turn.
Focus.
Damn it!
No, I literally left here and did nothing but run around for the whole time. So
yeah.
Did you bring us back to live?
What? Yeah. We're live. Where?
Yeah. We all still here.
Yeah, no, I'm more hyphy now than I was before we took the break.
What does hyphy mean?
I don't know. I'm using it to mean high strung or high.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know what this hyphy is that you speak of. So
High energy.
I gotcha. By the way, while he's thinking of a lens, we're glad a lot of y'all are back. We missed y'all last week. We know a lot of y'all were without power. Poor Pookie here was on every 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off. He described it as quote unquote fucking torture. So it was pretty bad.
I
we're
want to.
First world problem.
Yeah.
So when I create a focus, I can create an event of that or a period or event of that focus immediately.
Yeah. You tell us what our focus for this round is, and then you create a period, event, or scene. And then at the end, you get to make the nested event scene thing. If you want to.
Okay. I want to pick I know what the focus is. I want to focus on the moment that the 12 states become 12 states. Or that period of time. But I don't know what period of time that is.
13. So it's going to be, well, so is it...
you to create that period.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's after the Geisig, but before the Iron Vice, right?
I mean, it could be after.
It could be after the Iron Vice, so that's up to you. When do you want that period?
I thought we made the Iron Vice light in an ironic twist.
No, we were just joking. Fascism is not fucking light.
But yeah, you can put it on there as light if you want.
It was your thing. Did you want it to be light?
No. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and make that period then, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it after the time of the Iron Vice.
Oh, nice.
It might not be. We don't have anything that says Tishal has to be the person that hands the power from the Empire to the 12 feudalness. Do we?
My understanding is he is the emperor of the 13 feudal states.
Okay, so they do have to exist while he is emperor.
That's what we have already covered.
Would have to be the moment he becomes emperor.
Yeah, because I think let me pull up the
emperor for a period of time before that happens.
No, hold on. Let me pull up.
When I created the event, I said that he created shogunate. Yeah.
So he created the shogunate. So he has to be Tishal that creates the shogunate.
Yeah, which by ancient Japan or by Japan history was an emperor did that.
Yeah, because so we have in the events he created. Gojira separates into 13 separate lands, adopting a feudal system and an avatar bloodline. And then under Avatar phase, we had Tishal finds out that he's a blood descendant of Akroma and Rend, is a demigod, and is now the emperor of Gojira. But that's all in the same round.
Yeah.
So
that is a 200-year.
Okay.
That is so yes, technically you could have another emperor before.
Sure.
Another emperor before, if you wanted to do that.
Before would be easy, but Tishal has to be the one that hands the power over. But it can be after the time of the Iron Vice. That would just mean that the ruler we're talking about was Tishal, and for some reason he realized that.
Or why couldn't it be Kumo?
Or it could be someone in between Kumo and it could be someone before.
Well, because you just said that Tishal made the event. Tishal creates shogunate.
What I'm saying is,
no.
Paul doesn't have to be the iron-fisted fascist ruler.
Technically, so actually, the event says Gojira separates into 13 feudal states.
Right.
During the Avatar phase, it's when he finds out that he becomes the emperor. Once he finds out he is a Akroma and Ren's descendant,
and he gives up his power to 13 separate people instead of keeping it for himself.
But the end of the Geisig reign is when he becomes emperor. That of the end of the period, the call for a champion.
This just says the call for a champion.
No, the call for a champion is when he leaves to go do whatever the Geisig is. The Geisig happened over 2 periods, so that's 400 years in which the Geisig happens.
Oh.
We've never really said what constitutes how the Geisig itself plays out.
You just want to put the shogunate's form, just put the shogunate's form. We can figure out who it is or whatever later. It doesn't matter. right now. It doesn't even have to be what I put for the event. We can change that if we want. It doesn't matter.
It takes 400 years to operate. So the Geisig is like...
It doesn't have to be the same person, though. We never specified. So we could say the Geisig started. It was a 400-year-long game, right? Maybe the Civil War was part of it, whatever we want to do. But at the end, the winner of the Geisig was Tashal.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. The Geisig doesn't have to be 400 years. It's just saying that, like, somewhere in this 400-year time period, for at least a few decades, is the call of the champion to enter the Great Geisig.
Maybe there was,
but that clearly happens after the Civil War and before the time of the Iron Vice.
Before the Geisig starts, for sure, the call to enter it.
Well, yes.
So then 400 years has to pass.
No. 400 years is the entire time.
Yes, and at the end of that 400 years, Tashal wins the Geisig.
You're assuming that this Great Geisig here is that Great Geisig. That's another assumption you're making. This could be a totally different Geisig. This could be a Geisig before the Tashal Geisig. This could be a Geisig at the end of the fall.
Because this is the restart of the Geisig that happened when Ren came back and brought it, or the fake, or the Geisig, right? But it didn't exist before this.
It doesn't say Ren's Great Geisig. It says Great Geisig. Geisig was long ago established as a political game that was played throughout our world. So we could say this is one that they played themselves.
Well, then we should be saying it when we create it. That's
yeah,
it wasn't specific.
It wasn't specified. It just says Great Geisig. So if you want to pick your event, what I'm saying is you have leeway to pick your shogunate anywhere you want, technically speaking.
Yes.
You can put it there, you can put it before, after, wherever you want. It could have maybe there was a shogunate that before the one that
could have been a shogunate.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is nothing. If that's the way it works, then nothing I make actually is placed anywhere.
So you're running into the same problem I had when we first started. Yes.
Because I say, oh, I'm going to make a shogunate and this and that. Then 13 shogunates get made in between that shogunate and that shogunate, even though I made this one specifically and designed to be relation to that person and even said it out loud.
I know. This is what I said earlier when we first started.
Yeah.
This is the exact thing I brought up.
We still have to keep things in context with what's on the board.
Well, I just like the call for a champion to enter the Great Geisig is an entire period of time where the society decided they need to define the person that they're going to put forth toward the Great Geisig. Yes.
Yeah.
You said it culturally it changed.
It's not a specified period of time, so you could also say that's just like a 10-year period of time.
It could be 10, or it could be 400, or it could be I get that. What I'm saying is.
So it took Ren, if you're not comparing it to the amount of time it took Ren to do the Great Geisig, you could just say it took her 400 years to get to this 10-year period where she found her champion, which would end up being her bloodline, which would end up becoming the emperor, which would end up making the shogunate. So you could still pit it like after the Iron Vice or whatever.
So I'm just saying. So the Geisig, real quick, the people playing it can enter and leave during the entire age. Like somebody could be not playing it and then just join the game like 3/4 of the way through.
We never went down into.
We have never specified
and that doesn't matter for you placing the shogunate. None of what you're even saying even matters. Like you could just play it so wherever you want.
Well, the shogunate I want to place is the shogunate.
You should place it after this Great Geisig. Since now we're specifying this is the Geisig that Tashal came out of.
Okay, yes, but I also want to place it and it be the same thing, but it be after the time of the Iron Vice, which implies that Tashal is the emperor of the Iron Vice.
No, it doesn't necessarily imply that. There could be another emperor while he's in the Great Geisig.
Yes.
That's what we've been telling you since you.
At the time of the Iron Vice, we never said the emperor.
We haven't said who this emperor is.
Doesn't come into a formation until Tashal becomes the divine emperor. That guy could still be calling himself a Khan. He could be calling himself Kaiser.
Or he did create an empire. Whatever we want to do, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect where you want to put your period, John, is what I'm trying to say. Put it where you want. We'll just build up to it or past it. Whatever we want to. Like, there's no rule for it. You just
but there's a rule that allows me to link these things that says because I put this here, it makes an implication that says that is this.
But you can't say
attempting to do here.
But you can't say now that the emperor, that Tashal is the emperor of the Iron Vice because you didn't specify that when you made the period.
No, I just said the emperor that rules Gojira.
Yeah.
So
does it have to be Tashal?
Or you could say now that it is if you want to. That's up to you.
That's what I'm trying to say, and I feel like I'm getting like, well, you.
No, we're telling you to do whatever you want, dude. I've literally said it 5 times to you. What are you talking? Now you're making me mad because I literally said to you 5 times, put it wherever you want.
Okay, then I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to say it's
No one said you couldn't.
break of the 13, and I'm going to say it's Tashal that does it.
No, we're not fighting. He just doesn't listen when people say shit to him.
Well, I was under the impression
He just has to argue. He
you
just
were
has to
saying
argue.
I couldn't do Tashal. That they
No
couldn't have
one-
been Tashal.
No one said that. We said it doesn't have to be. It's all anyone said to you, dude. Because you were worried about it being him at first. You were like, I don't know if I want him to be the bad guy. We're like, well, he doesn't have to be the bad guy. They're like, but now I have to put it here. We're like, no, you fucking don't.
Dysfunctional family at its finest.
It's just aggravating, dude.
It happens. It happens. It's what happens when 4 people get together and they're trying. It happens. Shit happens. It's okay. All right. So, John,
12?
what are you doing?
12 was the
It's 13.
You can make
13.
it 12 if you want to. That doesn't matter either.
Okay. I thought we had
something we discussed beforehand.
we had discussed 13 feudal states. So, what is your period for? What's it called?
And the focus is the rise of the 13 feudal states.
No, it's the period of the 13 feudal
Yeah.
states.
The shogunate period, right?
The shogunate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just saying.
And so the description of the period is after Tashal gives his power away to the 12 members of the shogunate, starting or 13. Sorry.
Or you can make it 12, and maybe he keeps power like one state for himself.
Yeah, a capital state.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
Imperial state
Sure.
well, yeah,
makes sense.
and then 12.
It's like the city is like its own area, kind of like how
you just do,
the
your
divine city.
like a
Maybe we
forbidden
can-
city.
Well, maybe we can make him live in the central city that's between all those lands or whatever. The temple.
That would be a cool idea.
That temple could be like the Forbidden City.
Huh.
Or not.
No, that temple is pretty much already a forbidden city. It's just nobody really resides in it, and we had to figure out how that works. Which
We can do
if
something
he
cool.
lives there.
We can do something cool like maybe the emperor or the leader from each of these countries
Ooh,
I like that.
share the
At the
yeah.
Like
wait,
they took a page out of the original Khanate's idea of splitting power, and they said instead, what we're going to do is we'll make ourselves vulnerable to everybody else, like to each of us, by putting our power in the same center base.
and you can add that event. That's an event now. We can add that to splitting the horde. See, right? So when the horde split, they could create a centralized power where each person who led each one of those lands resided there, even before they were emperors. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like it's a good idea.
that is a cool idea.
I dig. So I'm gonna nest, and I'm gonna say inside will be an event, and the event that's a scene, right? My bad. An event, and the event will be that Tashal retires to the Forbidden City.
Okay.
The period of the 13 feudal states, light or dark?
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's light.
Yeah, I'll say that. To me, it seems like a light period.
Is that right? I spelled Tashal wrong, didn't I?
It's
I grabbed the
okay.
wrong thing.
Did I spell it wrong too?
It's TAASHAL.
The name is starting to aggravate me now, dude. I think we should just call it TS.
Yes, that's right.
Worry about moving it afterwards. Type it and then move it.
All right, so we are focusing on the period of the 13 feudal states. All right. Let's see. All right, I have an event. Oh.
So when we talked about the Dawn of Worlds, where T'Challa wins the Geisig and becomes Emperor, like, does he just get handed Emperor? Or, like, is there anything we specified from the Dawn of Worlds story?
Well, what happened?
Ah, goodness.
We rolled him randomly. He won the Geisig, right? And then
I somehow missed up the word accepted.
during my event, I said that the Shogunate got created, and then from that event during the resolution, we're like, oh, he's a demigod, and that's why he created the Shogunate, because he's the one who won the Geisig, and he became emperor because of it. So it was like an idea that spitballed off another idea. We never specified like what he did to win, how, like none of that stuff. Like,
Steve,
like, if he won and winning got him the emperor, or if he used power, he won.
We just inferred he became emperor. We never said. I mean, you could say maybe that's what it was for. I don't know. Like, we never said what it was.
All right.
Maybe it makes more sense he used his newfound power to gain it. I don't
so
know.
I, for some reason, erased a letter and accepted, and I can't get the fix. So Malik Fireborn, who is obviously of the Magma clan, he is actually accepted into the Kimpos. He actually, like, it's not an arranged marriage, but like he is basically brought into another clan because during this feudal time period, there's arranged marriages, there's things like this. Clans are interacting with each other, and he is actually accepted into the Kimpos, obviously the ninjas of the Acid Dragon clan. So he is the first one of a non-Acid Dragon to be accepted into the Kimpos. And it's actually a light period because it's a sign of diversity and of understanding. So that's my thinky thing. It's my event. Oh, is T'Challa retiring to the Forbidden City?
Yeah, I'm
dark period or light period?
I couldn't find an extra one, so I'm just going to copy one real quick.
Yeah, just right click and copy.
Because it I don't know. I guess it doesn't have to happen right at the same. I picture it happening as the opener to the period.
Yeah.
Or maybe not the opener, because then I guess his declaration would be, and unless you want to put retires to the Forbidden City, include the development of the period of the 13 feudal states.
Yeah, there might be things before that. It's fine.
Yeah. It's like a kaleidoscope of
pain.
Benedict Arnold wasn't a traitor.
And Lewis and Clark were actually like spies for the government. They found that out. Yeah. They're pretty sure he was killed by a Freemason. They actually found blood. It's a really weird. It was a really weird, interesting story.
It's nice.
But he was like, when they were exploring, they were also gathering intel.
When Benedict Arnold did actually commit betrayal, but like he was a hero like 6 times over who never got any respect. So even I was like, get yours, bro. You say the war would have been over 4 years ago, but fuck it. Get something for yourself.
So I can put a period in here, right? As long as it is directly before or after, or I can only do events, right?
No, you can do anything.
Period or
it just has to relate to the formation of the 13 feudal states.
Yeah.
The formation, right? Or was it the period?
The period of the 13 feudal states.
So if you have a period that relates to the period before or after that you think fits, then it fits.
Yeah. If it fits, it ships.
Like, for instance, if there's a character you want to bring out in the period of the 13 feudal states, but you want to establish them as something, they can be doing something in a different timeline almost during the time of something else.
Yeah.
Or the different period.
There's so much thinking. I like it. It makes me happy. I actually showed some people some beatboxing on some flutes today. They didn't think that you could do that. And I was like, hell yeah, you can. You can do the Knight Rider, some beatboxing.
On what?
On the flute. there was a guy I saw years ago, and I actually found on YouTube, where he beatboxed Knight Rider with the flute. It was pretty badass. Thought it was quite badass myself. So, John, what do you think y'all are going to post the movie critique thing? Like, how much more editing do you think is involved in that?
That's gonna go to YouTube. I'm actually gonna pull out a whole bunch of highlight stuffs for it to be digestible. Because I don't, unless somebody really wants to watch 3 hours, or is interested in actually watching the thing, which shouldn't be the reasoning behind watching so much of the commentary. But I was talking with Pookie, Son O.
Son of Pookie.
Could I just
by the way, who is Pookie? And who are you? Who is the son?
Oh, Pookie, like an Irish surname.
Oh, Pookie. Son O Pookie.
Yeah, Son O. Pookie.
Oh, maybe it's like son, like the oh gosh, like the
Son of Pookie.
No. I was thinking of like the like Sun Wukong, like that from like Chinese mythology. Maybe he's Son O Pookie. Maybe he's like.
All right, so sometime before the end of this period, they transfer from a shogunate to one empire again, but it's not under the rule of an emperor anymore. He's like a figurehead, like an imperial Japan kind of, but like basically the when it becomes Imperial Gojira, it's now controlled by whatever army has most control of Gojira.
Okay.
It doesn't or does become control of the army.
It does because it's Imperial controlled.
So that's the fallout from the 13 feudal states, is what.
Yeah. Well, it's the end, I guess. I mean, I had a different event in here, but I wanted this to happen before the fall. I want this to be the in between.
Okay. The fall before the fall of the actual empire.
Before the fall of the empire.
Okay, this is the in between. This is what. Okay.
Directly relates. Does that make sense? I don't know how else
makes sense to me.
I mean, I know the reason I want to happen, but I don't know if that's something that I should say because this is a period, right? Like that doesn't.
Yes. Yeah, it's a period. So basically, this is the fallout from the feudal states.
Yep.
Makes sense to me.
So it's all like one federal nation again in some fashion.
Yeah, just like Imperial Japan, it kind of moves from 13 shoguns to like one. You wouldn't call him an emperor, like the emperor is there, but the army and the navy, the military controls.
He's a figurehead, nothing more.
Now he's a complete figurehead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess a military dictatorship is what you could call it too. I just called it imperial because that's what the Japanese called themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, where the emperor really didn't have any control.
Event within the time of the Iron Vice. Komodo Shadowheart leads the Shadowheart clan against the Iron Vice.
Okay.
Solidifying the Shadowhearts as a clan and one of the eventual feudal states.
Yes. All right, so that means now John gets to do something else again.
Oh, this is
okay. You know what? We're gonna get dirty. I'm going to put a scene. Actually, I'm gonna put an event and a scene because I'm a fucking greedy little pig. So I'm gonna grab my event.
This is your legacy, right?
Here. What?
It's your legacy, right?
No, it's my legacy.
No. The person who sets focus goes at the end again, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So what I'm gonna do is the event I'm gonna build is gonna be before Tashal retires, because that can have its own series of like him retiring and all the events that occur with him and his family and all these other things inside of it. And I am going to put literally Tashal formally forms. That's a lot of F's.
There's a lot.
Tashal formally forms the feudal states.
He formalizes the feudal states.
The feudal fiefdoms.
Do not. I'm gonna. He formalizes the feudal states. Is what you're looking for.
he creates the shogunate. No, that's even before he creates the shogunate. So he breaks up the territory into states.
Yeah, and gives each to a. Are we gonna call
Clan.
it daimyo? Or
Shogun's the same thing. I mean, well, daimyo.
Shogun's
A daimyo.
the lead general, right?
Yes, shogun works for a daimyo, right? And a daimyo.
So technically, be a dino. Yeah.
In the shogunate period in Japan, there were no daimyos. Like literally, the shoguns ran their territories.
Yeah, Shogo was is usually the head general, right?
Yeah, the
Or
shogun.
the- or the
Uh,
emperor.
That's why it's called shogi. Because shogi's a war game.
So, oh yeah. So
Actually, I have that backwards. Daimyo is like a governor.
Daimyo is the governor. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
shogun
is
runs.
the
Shogun's
general.
above. Yes, above the governors.
But
And
it's like the
national
governor
secretary.
that gets picked to be the direct assistant to the emperor,
Yeah.
or the head general.
Yeah.
No.
But usually, that dude is the guy who ends up killing the emperor and usurping power.
So he went this way.
The 60 that existed. So the event I'm going to create is to the Jashal forms the feudal state.
So Steve went. He was a lens, and then
Then I was
Pookie did the legacy.
yeah. And so
Fixed
this time
legacy now.
it will be Steve's legacy.
Steve's like.
Okay, it'll be Steve's legacy. That's right. Okay, good. I was really confused for a second on whose legacy it was. And
I'm
everything,
having
so.
an issue with the. I keep using the wrong keyboard for the fucking delete.
Too many keyboards.
So what I want to do now is put the scene, and it will not be a dictated scene. It's actually going to be a scene. That's why I said let's get this thing, going.
Uh-oh.
And it's going to be inside the formation. So this formation as an event is a whole thing. Like, so it's kind of like when they formed the United States, there was a Congress and there was this and that. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that period of time is the kind of time period that we're talking about that encapsulates the formation of the feudal states, culminating most likely with a declaration of some sort.
Or like a council, like a grand council.
It could have been, or it could have been
He
unilateral.
could have just done it himself too.
Yeah, it could have been unilateral. I'm just saying that the period of time over which the event happens was like the formation of his thought of it, from the introduction to there could be a scene technically for each of those things. And so the scene that I want to focus on is going to be like the when he declared the formation of the feudal states, what was Tishal's intent for the future vision of his nation?
Okay. Yeah, so is this on? So is Tishal forming the feudal states light or dark?
It's gonna
Because that will dictate the scene.
Does that dictates the scene? We don't say whether it is or
Oh no, it doesn't, but that dictates the event. So the scene could be different, but is the event Tishal forming the feudal states, is it light or is it dark?
And
then you need to pick.
Let's say it's
is
dark.
the scene light or
Let's say
dark?
it's dark, because during this time period, there's a bunch of brooding and questioning.
Okay.
People are not sure; they're uneasy about what might be occurring, or Tishal is uneasy. Other people in the court are uneasy. There's clearly
so then is the scene that we're going to do, is it light or is it dark? What flavor do you want the scene to have?
I don't think we do that for the scene.
I thought we did light or dark for everything, don't we?
So I state the question. Oh no, I think afterwards we determine whether it was light or dark.
See, I thought it was light or dark before, so it lets us know like what kind of where we're going with it.
State the question, and then it says set the stage. When did the scene happen? Review the facts about it, and then we choose characters. So
Okay, so we don't actually do light or dark for the scene. If we don't, that's fine. I don't have Microscope pulled up on me, so I'll believe whatever you guys say.
Pulled out a short list. I typed up myself, so I'm hoping it's
fine. It doesn't have to be light or dark. Let's just do it.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So I specify 1 or 2 characters that must be played, and that can't be played. So during the scene, the scene happens. This particular scene is going to take place into Shaw's court. Before he makes his declaration. Let's say it is the day before, while he's coming to his conclusions on the thought.
Okay.
So the facts are: T'Challa is the emperor. We know that the Komodo Shadowheart is a recognized clan.
Mhm.
We know the Kenpo exist and are around, and all the other stuff from our Dawn of Worlds that might pop up.
Can we make suggestions for your scene or no? Is that allowed within the rules?
I think that for the set scene, once you pick who you are and all of that, your suggestions for go ahead. I'm good.
I mean, are you supposed to or not? I don't know if you're supposed to.
They say in the Microscope a lot you're not supposed to do anything.
Okay, well, the character I want to play, the character I want to play is Malik Fireborn.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so either way, yeah. So I specify 1 or 2 characters that must be played. So somebody must play T'Challa.
Mhm.
I'm gonna mix some shit up for our history real quick. That might make some difficulty. But somebody has to play T'Challa's father.
Okay. So we have Kumo, T'Challa, Malik Fireborn, and Komodo Shadowheart.
Yeah, that's 4. That's us.
Those are 4.
And I can ban
everyone else. I'm just kidding.
You can ban like one thing from happening, right?
That can't be played character. So the characters that can't play the Jinn.
No, Alcatos. Yeah.
Alcatos. Or how about the actual Unifier, whoever it was, not the Iron Vice.
Somebody could bring the Iron Vice.
Yeah, whoever he was or she was.
I mentioned during the period of the 13 feudal states that was he's ending the time of the Iron Vice by doing this.
Oh, so what's the shawl? Okay, sorry. All right, good job.
Yeah, but I mean, what if he's like a prisoner, or if he's like a, I don't know. Like, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to be dead.
The Iron Vice doesn't necessarily have to be dead.
Yeah.
The Iron Vice.
He's saying T'Challa was the Iron Vice.
No, the Iron Vice isn't a person. It's a period of time, like the Great Strife.
Right. So maybe the emperor at the time of the Iron Vice, if it wasn't T'Challa, maybe that person is still alive.
Yeah, so we can, but we're not bringing that person into the scene.
Yeah,
whoever that person is not going to be in the scene.
Yeah.
So we're good with that, John?
Can you play more than one character too, or no?
Hold on. What are you thinking, John?
Secondary characters in and stuff too, and all that. I was going to say the queen, the lady on the hill in the.
The Empress.
No,
the Empress. No Empress. Yes, it's Empress.
Yeah. That's the ones I was going to ban.
Okay.
And you can bring in secondary characters or no?
Yeah. There's a process to that. So then what happens is we pick characters, everybody to the right of the scene maker first. So that would be Corinth, son of Pookie.
Shit.
Pick your character.
Pick my character? Oh.
One person has to play T'Challa and one person has to play T'Challa's father at least. But you can pick something else first.
Well,
so you can play more than one character? Cool.
Yeah.
And add is this where you can add secondary characters?
The way it works is everybody gets a primary, right? And that's your main thing. And then during the scene, like secondaries
can
be brought in.
All right.
So our 4 primaries are going to be Komodo, Malik, T'Challa, and Kumo.
I guess. Yeah.
Those are, I would assume
there's only 2 that are required. So you can pick other those people exist. I was just saying as a fact, we know these people.
So we could make up we could also make
they don't even have to be in the scene.
So we can make up a character right now that could be here.
Your own character right now from scratch and drop them into the story.
Cool. All right.
All right. Let me see. I want to bring in a new character because I get to pick first, so I'm not playing either one of those title characters. Let's do Kenshi. Want to say Kenshi, Kenshi. Kenshi Stormborn. It's a lightning dragon. So one of the lords. So
I have so many questions. Is he okay? Is he is he a lizard folk?
he is lizard folk. Yes.
Okay, so
He is-
he's not a Ractonian who made his
No.
way into society.
Is he?
Yeah.
Because we already
No, he's
have
actually-
people with storm powers.
He is.
Is he-
He is, but he's actually lightning dragon lineage.
And
He's
that-
lightning dragon.
Do they have their own? Is he like a clan leader or?
Yeah, he's the clan leader.
Okay.
I would assume if you're in
that's
court,
how you can do that. Is you just establish that there is a clan of Storm. See that like you're able to build all the
Yes.
extra facts.
Yes,
off of
he is.
the characters.
He is the leader of the
Like-
Storm clan, of the Storm Dragon clan.
So now we know one of the clans that existed.
is somebody
during
writing
the time of the-
somebody writing this down,
Oh,
Surely Steve
I-
is
or maybe
the guys whose event.
the guy who's invented it, or maybe the guy who's been taking all the notes and doing the timeline.
yeah. I want to print something. I'll type up some characters real quick on a just Google sheet.
Shaw's father's name Komodo.
Kumo.
Kumo.
Oh, Komodo's the other guy right there. My bad.
Komodo is.
Do we
yeah,
have
Komodo's
to do those initial characters have to be picked within this first round of picking characters, or not?
Yes, the primaries.
So either me, Steve, or you has to pick a primary now. Or no, I guess I
Yeah.
don't have to. I can
No,
leave it
no.
to you two.
Yeah, you can lead them
free.
both with Tishal and Kumo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Kumo. So it's on Steve.
Take Tishal.
All right.
That's on you.
Okay, what's your
John.
name for the Storm guy? Storm.
I'm writing it out now. Kenshi Stormborn.
Kenshi.
I'm actually writing down notes.
Storm.
But that's not necessarily the name of the clan, right? We can change the name of the clan to something else.
Yeah, it's just something lightning.
That's just his last name. His
Yes.
Hey Steve, can you help with what else has to be happening in the scene? And while you're talking about that, I'll come up with my character because I was really expecting to go for the bag on Tishal or
on, dude.
Kumo. Okay, I'm gonna
So,
play.
real quick,
Just
give me one quick refresher. The question of the scene is why is he splitting his power into
Yes.
a future state?
Yeah.
No. The
No.
question was, what is the vision that he has for the future of Gojira based on this decision being made?
Okay. So it's happening in his royal chamber, right?
His
His
royal
court.
chambers.
Well, John said court. I like the idea of court actually.
And
I
at
think
his
that's
royal court.
more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Explains why all these people would be here. Like,
Mhm.
I think Tishal is currently sitting and listening to the concerns of his constituents.
Yeah.
okay.
So Tishal is going to be sitting at the head of his throne, and right now at the beginning of the scene, you need to come up with your character because we have to tell everyone what the
What's the
standing
character's thinking?
thought.
Yeah, okay, so I have an idea for a character. I want an air-based clan.
Okay.
Okay. And this guy is going to be an avatar in the air-based clan, not a daimyo, but like a court guy. And he also is going to be a Bellows influenced character.
Okay.
Okay. So he's part of the Bellows. Perfect. Okay.
So what's his name?
When you say Avatar, do you mean Avatar in Dawn of Worlds he's going to be, or do you mean he's like a
He's
not Avatar?
not Dawn of the Worlds. Like he's an avatar for his daimyo. Like
I'm saying, do you want to make him a courtier, basically?
yeah, he's a trusted courtier.
A
So
courtier.
it's a courtier. Okay, gotcha.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
No,
When
you're
you said
good.
Avatar, I didn't know if you want him to be a character. Because you could do that too. If you want one of these characters to be in Dawn of Worlds, you could say that right now, and then we can put him in once we get to the period.
If anybody through what we do does something cool enough in the story,
It's just a lot of characters because we're about to make up like 13 fucking people.
Right.
So.
somebody has to do something.
We don't have to make all 13 up.
No, we don't, but we could, and it would go along with what he's about to do.
Okay, so what's a good air dragon? A Japanese air dragon name.
They're lung.
I think you should-
They're
I
all
think you
lung
should-
dragons.
You should do something with celerity, dude, because I love the idea of celerity being like speed, like moving so fast. So it should have something to do with that, I think.
Celerity translated to Japanese is Sereriti.
Oh my god.
Cerity?
Celerity.
Are you sure that's a real word, or they're just be like, it's something like this?
They're like, we don't know what the fuck you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Man. If you have a word that literally doesn't translate, it just
It won't do it. Oh, so it's a real word. That's cool. How about Ceratus or Ceratos or Ceratos?
Yeah, what's the spelling for that, Steve? I'm gonna take it and use it, but use a C instead of an S.
How the hell
Nice.
do you spell? There we go. I spelled it right. Sereriti.
I can't change my text. I can only add new text. When
Yeah, I couldn't change mine either. I have to delete it. It's ridiculous.
Oh no, I got it. Oh,
No,
arrow. Double click arrow.
You have to double click to the arrow.
Oh, okay.
Just click again with the.
Because I was trying to go to edit and it won't let me edit it. So I was like,
Okay, CER what? I T I S.
SER.
Yeah, but
he wants to change it to a C.
So CER.
ERITI.
ERITI. Okay. ERITI. There we go.
Celerity. Okay. All right. Courtier for the for Air Dragon clan.
Yes. Cerity, who rides in the wind. All air-based, lungy-based puns.
Yeah.
So now,
I have a pitch real quick. Before can we make these two other characters, since they are primary? Can we make them somehow involved in the current government before he does this? Kenshi Stormborn, can we make that like his master at arms and make like
when
Cerity?
you share what your character's thinking, I think you can establish facts in that.
Okay,
too,
all right,
Steve.
Yeah.
Because if they're primary characters, I feel like they should probably be important to this current situation. Like I get why Tashal and Kumo are. It's obvious, right? But the other two, I don't know. Like, shouldn't there be a reason they're important, or does that not matter?
We will be able to establish them further as we do more lenses and stuff. So why they are here necessarily will either come out while we're in the middle of role playing the scene. So
okay, so we're just improvising.
So
okay.
if you decide that the character, you're playing Kuma, aren't you? So let's say since nobody picked up Komodo right now, and during the scene you want to have Komodo say some shit like, as the master of arms of the Empire, blah blah blah, you could do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, kind of like scene direction. You step in with a an action block whenever you want.
Or you could have said when you were making the character that he is this, right?
Yeah.
You could have done that, yeah.
Or when you're talking in a second about what your character thinks, you can be like, he's really worried that when he comes here, the blankety blank is going to do blank, establishing two other things.
Yeah. So I'm going to open up with the thoughts. Tashal is sitting in his throne room in his court, looking over some of the most important members of his new empire. And he's concerned that all of them think that he might become like the ruler that took hold of the lands of Gojira while he was gone, gaining his own power at the Geisig. And he would like to find a situation that best suits all of the peoples of Gojira, as is his divine purpose.
Remember that we can't answer the question in anything that establishes.
What was the question again? I lost that.
What's his vision?
What's his vision for the future? And so
What's his vision for the future?
He doesn't have the vision yet. That's why he's got all these people here.
Well, I mean,
he's just thinking about the concern of what could happen.
I was just thinking that what is good for all of is kind of skirting what a vision.
Well, he's concerned that these people might think he may become another Iron Vice.
Okay, so are his thoughts that he wants feedback on what his idea is, or is he asking for ideas?
He has not yet asked for ideas. That's his thought.
That's his thought? Okay.
Right now, he has just gathered everyone.
This is what happened after the bit where everybody got confused and upset, and I was trying to say is like when I created the period of the 13 feudal states, in the description I gave all you guys, I specifically said that it was Tashal creating it because of the fact that he was the Iron Vice that then needed to get power.
I never heard you say he was the Iron Vice.
That's why I said, "Are you sure I can do it over and over?" And you said I could do anything.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. No one,
this and linking it to
no one heard you say it.
I did. That's
Okay.
literally
Then-
earlier.
See, now you're getting excitable again, dude. No one said no to you.
Like
Still,
literally. Yeah, no, I'm just remember earlier.
literally.
Reevaluates
He asked me, "What's up, John?" Because he saw me go. It's because that's what everybody mentioned again that he wasn't the Iron Vice during the creation. And so I was like,
he was the Iron Vice. So he was the Iron Vice.
that was the idea. Is that he's the one who chose because I don't know. We don't have the reasons yet.
So why is Komodo there if Komodo is the one who led an army against him?
No, I didn't say Komodo was there.
Somebody did. He was one of the characters mentioned.
No, you mentioned
No,
that these are
somebody-
characters there.
Somebody said Komodo, bro.
I
There,
I'm-
said 2 required people, and then I established facts that people existed.
Oh yeah,
You-
so Komodo,
But
so
you
Komodo
said
doesn't have to be there.
you said
No,
we
I
have
said
Komodo.
Komodo's Shadowheart exists.
I said he was there and he isn't there.
No, but
I said Moto the Shadowheart exists, or not?
yeah,
Moto.
you mentioned him as a character that could be there.
Yeah, he could be there. He can
Yeah,
be
that's
there.
what I'm saying. You did say it though. You're just like I didn't say that. Yeah, you
No,
did.
I'm saying he can. I'm sorry. I thought you just said that I said he was.
No, I just said you mentioned him. So I was like, is he there? Like, why? That's why I just said, why is he there if he's the guy who
Oh, yeah,
tried
he's
to
not.
dethrone
My
him?
understanding is not there. If he was, though,
He might be there. Maybe he saw the fault in his ways.
Or maybe he forgave him.
or he's
Yeah.
there as a like he's chained to the wall, and he.
That's why-
tortured like.
That's why I asked the question.
The question of the scene is what Tashal's view of the future is.
Yeah, what is his view of the future for his people in doing this?
Why is he stopping being iron fisted though?
Yeah, that's a question.
Because it's
Did he refer to himself as the Iron Vice, or was that
No,
something that people
that's a
referred to
period,
him as?
and it's not a person; it's a period. The Iron Vice is supposed to represent the torture that people are going under.
Yeah, because he
So it's a
became
period
iron.
of the torture.
So why was it referred to as the Iron Vice?
Why was the
What he's
time
saying is,
period?
it was
Yes.
like,
Time period was referred to.
Yes.
as Iron
Why
Vice
is it referred to as that?
because of the clamping down.
Because he became
he
a
was
fascist.
heavy-handed.
He became a
He
fascist.
became heavy-handed out of paranoia because we said it was to maintain a hold of power because he was worried about.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say that, in my opinion, if I do an event, that they're going to refer to him as the Iron Vice because that makes complete sense to me.
They probably would.
I-
It would make sense.
Yeah,
Okay, no. I have Tashal's thought. No,
Again-
I have Tashal's thoughts now. I have his thoughts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because our question is what changes him from being the Iron
No,
Vice to getting the power?
That's-
Yeah, that's a good question.
I do have the
that's the
thought.
question I was avoiding. Sorry.
Tashal is sitting here having gathered all of these people, including his enemies. And he's trying to see his path forward. Is considering the extreme xenophobia and fear that was built into him of what he considered lesser people during his time involved in the Geisig, and how he may have been wrong to bring those temperaments back to the Empire, but he doesn't know what the path forward should be. Should he reinstate the Vice or take a different path? He wants all the desperate voices, those loyal and disloyal, to convince him of the path to the future.
Okay.
I like that. So that's like this could be the banger opener
Yeah.
for the 13 Fates.
I kind of feel like the Komodo should be over here. Like him leading
Yeah.
this army should be like the thing that started him
Maybe that's what made
Considering-
him rethink his.
rethinking his strategies. I don't know if it necessarily.
An event right above.
Yeah, I think it might belong. Yeah, it might belong above T'Challa forms of feudal states.
Okay.
Honestly,
I could agree with that.
I don't think it
These
should be over
transition
here.
periods are really weird. They even in real history, where it's like, where does this period end and this one start exactly? And it's usually like a range, right?
Yeah.
I don't
See, dude,
disagree
and I also don't understand that thing, like where John basically, like we create his period, he put an event into his period. That was the reason for the period to start. You know what I'm saying? And we've been doing that, but that to me doesn't feel like a period. That feels to me like an event. Like those things that you say when you start your period, those shouldn't be the period.
Yeah, they should
They
be
should be the
events,
event, like the event. Yeah,
Like
it doesn't
that-
make any
that-
sense.
The whole period is the period of all the states.
Yeah, and the event
And
should be
the
that.
form
Like
thing.
it almost feels like the event you said, John, should be like in between these two, like a sideways card that says he
Tashal
changed
forms
his
of
mind.
Feudal states honestly should sit in the Iron Vice time frame, and then the period should be the feudal 13 states, right?
Right.
Well,
It's like so
The
weird.
reason
Like
I created it this way is that it forces an implication of time where he was emperor before he
yeah,
created the 13 feudal states.
it almost feels like it should be like it feels like it should be like the transitional event that made him want to.
Yeah,
Create
I
the
feel like
13 states.
this. I like that. I think that's a great idea. Like the rising up against him is this wake up call that he got, and then
Yeah.
it's like, but we can say that the rising up could be the last event of the time of the Iron Vice.
Yeah, that would make it the transitional event, right? So instead of being up here, it could be at the bottom down here.
It could be the bottom of the
Yeah.
Iron Vice.
Okay, so back where it was at,
Right,
but it'd be at the
back where
bottom.
it's at the bottom.
Okay.
So what is Kumo?
Sorry, Steve.
What's Kumo thinking?
Sorry, dude. Kumo's thoughts. See, dude, this is what's the problem with it is because the last time that Kumo was a character or had an event was way back here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so now I have to figure out everything that led up to that for his state of mind right now.
Yeah. Kumo is definitely a difficult character to address here.
To me, I would think
Very
maybe.
little about him.
I don't
Yeah,
think
so you get to make up all the shit you
but
want.
I keep thinking.
I know, but it's still like a lot for me.
Alexander
to
the
think of.
Great's father is who I keep thinking.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
When Alexander becomes Alexander the Great, which is why he becomes Alexander the Great.
So there's two ways to think about it. You could think either he was very proud of his son for becoming the emperor, or maybe he's ashamed that his son became the Iron Vice. Like, and
Or maybe he helped promote.
he has. Yeah, either way, there's two different ways you can think about it. Like, maybe he doesn't want his son to give up all this power, or maybe he does.
Robert
All right.
the Bruce's father. Robert the Bruce's father.
Wants his thoughts are returning from the exile that his son forced him into when he took the throne has
Nice.
made him he doesn't want vengeance. He's very ambivalent, but he's intrigued by why this meeting is being called. Because I'm going to say he's heard whispers that this is some kind of unification of the lands and that his son might be giving up power or maybe trying to invade somebody else, take more power. He doesn't know exactly what it is, but he knows it's some big move that the whole nation's going to take. So he's intrigued. And he's ambivalent towards his son. He doesn't hate him, but he doesn't love him anymore because he exiled him.
Nice. So,
See, that establishes a bunch too.
yeah. See? So, Kenshi, Stormborn, in my eyes, is one of his great warriors. He's a loud, boisterous, very, very vain person. But he's probably also kind of tired. Like, it's exhausting being one of the major generals for a overbearing warlord. So he's probably in advanced age. He's probably older now. He's probably had children. And maybe there's a part of him that really wants what he views as actual peace. So he doesn't want his children growing up to be in this, constant state of battle and flux. So he doesn't really know. I'm sure he's probably heard occasionally Tashal mention stuff like that, but he has a hard time thinking that Tashal could ever be something other than the Iron Vice that he is. So he's probably skeptical at best right now. So that's my idea for Kenshi.
Is he
Okay.
loyal? Is he loyal to Tashal?
He is loyal. He is very loyal because Kenshi, because Tashal has killed former warlords, former generals who
So it's
showed him
out of-
disobedience.
So it's out of fear, though.
It's a
loyal.
fear and respect. Yeah, he respects his power, but he is clearly like not wanting to fuck up.
Okay. I need to clarify something I said earlier. I said a courtier to a
Yeah.
daimyo. That's the
Yeah.
wrong terminology. Daimyo
Okay.
doesn't exist because there's not a feudal state yet.
Yeah.
He's just a
So-
courtier.
It's a courtier to a governor or a local
Sure.
and
You're
so
like
that
a seneschal.
seneschal, whatever the local.
Yeah. He's a courtier for the Air Dragon clan itself.
That's actually.
But there's no
yeah.
daimyo. Yeah. He's just
Yeah.
a
It's
just
like
a spokesman.
familial thing in an area, and they just happen to control most of the stuff.
Yeah, he's just a spokesman. He's a spokesman for the clan.
You could say they're already clans too. They just haven't been
Yeah.
given the
Some
shogunate status.
People still have clans
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
from
There's
the
clans, but they're more like informally collected, familial. Like
Yeah,
the
they're
family
clan
covers who
format
is
that
not in your
exists
clan,
from
not the
the
government.
not necessarily what will be.
Like they can even have lands already and all that type of shit too. They just there's no shogunate. They're not like a feudal system yet.
Yeah.
Like
it belongs to the same family, but the government doesn't have a thing employed that says, oh, because it's going to go to this cousin over here.
Yeah, maybe they don't have an army. Maybe they're merchants. Maybe they're whatever. Like it doesn't. You know what I mean? They're not part of the shogunate.
Sarah Reedy. So when you need to say the name of it, just think of it as Sarah with the last name Reedy.
Mm.
Sarah Reedy is excited. Feels there's a bunch of opportunity here. She doesn't normally attend court and was sent here as a representation to have ideas. She's normally a local courtier, but was sent here to present ideas because she did really good back when she was back in her hometown or clan area at the table meet for ideas to be sent here. So I'm trying to think like she's like it's an opportunity. That's what she's feeling coming into it. That there's an opportunity here for her to. No,
that's fine. I mean, it's whatever she wants.
Fine.
So she's not conniving.
No,
she's like
earnest. Here, trying to look for an opportunity to prove the value of her clan to the Empire, so that maybe the Empire doesn't shit on her clan so much.
That's
little back tongue there.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, hey, look at what we've done. Sounds good to me. All right.
So now how does the shindig start, Steve?
So, with all of the people gathered, they're actually somewhere in the range of 20 powerful figures, warlords, disparate bandit lords, courtiers that are actually in the central chamber. Not all of them need to be named, but they're all people that have some claim to something. And once everyone finally gathers inside of the court, the let's call it the Imperial Guard, essentially, each come in and they bring a stone dais into the center of the table that's sectioned off into 13 different portions. At that point, Tashal kind of stands up off of the throne. I've gathered you to speak your minds, loyalists, secessionists, criminals.
Exiles.
The eternal emperor has opened his ear to all. Speak.
I have a question real quick. So if we want to do secondary characters, do we put them in now or like do we just
As you want to bring them in? Tell us who they are and then start talking.
Yeah, it's literally like
all right, so
improv.
A man approaches from behind the dais. He carries an enormous sword, 8 feet long and 3 feet wide. It appears to be made out of jagged pieces of bone and teeth and scale. He sets his sword on the dais. It slams down with like an immense amount of weight.
As this person comes in, there is a look of recognition in Tashal's eye. And he looks to the wielder and nods in a degree of understanding. At what has entered his throne room.
This man appears to be a salmon.
Mm-hmm.
He has pinkish skin and his features are very human-like. Small gills underneath his chin. flailed scales for hair.
Mhm.
And he kneels on one knee and he says, I believe this belongs to you.
Oh shit, that was a damn. Which summon was that, or is that just some person you're making?
It's McGurgle, girl. McGurgle.
What was his actual name?
McGurgle, girl. McGurgle, that's his name.
Murloc.
Murloc, that's it, yeah.
Murloc. Okay.
Murloc. McGurgle.
I was like McGurgle. I was like, I don't remember that name. So Murloc is a straight up beast who brings in the sword.
It has commanded me to be brought to your lands, to your chamber, and for your hands. And he just gets up and walks out of the room.
Like a boss.
So Tashal will look across the gathered audience and see if anyone is so bold.
As to approach the sword.
Yeah. Kinshi actually is pulling his weapon just slightly to see, in case anyone actually does approach it. Gonna bring the thunder. McGurgle.
What's the Japanese word for sun?
Oh.
Son as in my son, or
My-
son
yeah,
as in the son?
My son.
Masuko? Musuko.
Masuko?
Mhm.
Well, there you have it, Masuko. All of the power you seek, it's right in front of you.
He leaves the sword sitting where it is. And is looking at
An
the
easy-
audience.
Seems to be an easy choice for you now. Sending me out of these lands, was that an easy choice? I mean, was that not for power? Why are we really here? Because your people want you dead? Because the others you've exiled, you feel them bearing down on your lands again? Or maybe you want us all in one place so you can get rid of all your problems.
Lord, just say the word.
Well, that
This
wouldn't
one.
explain much about while I'm here, or most of us. We're all
Your
going to-
neonate is biting at the teeth for the chance. Give him the sword.
What are we here to decide? You said you needed our help to make a decision.
I've invited you to speak. All of you. Even the exiles.
About what?
The Empire.
You're being fairly non-specific.
He wants to know what you
The state
believe.
of
Yes.
the Empire.
Like the future of the Empire.
The future of the Empire. As
Do
it
you not
exists now?
listen? No, like the vision. Like what will become of the Empire?
Well, I assume that if we actually walk it out on a rail, we'll see that the Emperor will isolate himself further and further into dark rooms, becoming more and more paranoid of everyone here. And then, as he hurts more and more of the populace through starvation and the laws that are putting most loved ones into jails and prisons, someone here will get in his ear, and it'll become a very dark place. How is this not the writing already on the wall?
Should I strike her down for her insolence, Lord?
No. Today, this is not a place where blood will be spilled.
As you wish.
I'm confused. Even the thing that he brought out, the representation of our empire right here, is fractured into pieces. Obviously, even the Emperor knows.
What's fractured into pieces?
You said
The,
you
the,
brought
the,
it up at
the
the
sword
beginning.
broke the dais.
The sword broke the dais.
No, it
Yeah.
just landed heavy upon the dais.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, when he brought it out, he said it was broken.
No,
in
I said
13
It was sectioned.
section into 13 pieces.
the dais is, yeah. Is that what you're referring to? I thought you were talking about the sword.
No, I'm talking about the
Sorry.
dice.
My bad. I thought the sword actually
I'm-
broke it into more pieces.
I'm looking at the dais itself.
Oh, the fact that it's
still
fractured.
a solid dais. It's not fractured. It's just got lines. Like it's got. Imagine if you put lines to make 13 sections on it.
I thought the dais was actually a representation of Gojira itself. I'm sorry. I see
No,
the
it's like
dais.
it's a representation of the 13 clans.
When you said that, I just thought it was like a round table with like 13
It's a round
pieces.
table with 13 places.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, never mind then. Doesn't work. I'll take off my exclamation at the end there. I'm just confused. Like, we have to get to a question. Everything we should be doing should be answering this question. When this vagary stuff isn't helping too much, it doesn't
Well,
make.
This is how it gets to that question.
None of the important people are saying anything.
Well, he asked you what you wanted to do. Like, why we're really here, and you never answered.
Yeah,
it.
you just went back to vagary again. I was trying to
I
throw.
was trying to get other people to say stuff about the Empire. I'm sorry.
Well, that's why I did it, even though I don't think my character would. Because
Your lord,
getting your
if
head
I
cut
may
off.
speak, I have been your sword for many years, but I am concerned that my words may lead to my own death. But you have promised no blood will be shed, so I will speak freely. I fear that if we do not come to some amicable terms, that what the young air dragon says will become true, that we will fall into a much darker place. I fear that eventually we'll have another civil war, and I do not want my children to grow up in a time of war. I do not want my children to grow up knowing the sword and the feeling of flesh being pierced by a weapon. We need to find some way to make peace with all the clans. I don't know exactly what that looks like, and I don't know how that comes to be, but I believe that you're the only one who can fully make that a reality. So that is my peace, Lord.
Peace. Peace is not the Gojiran way. Absolute control is not the Gojiran way. Has never been. We were born a horde. We will die a horde. But the horde need not have one head. Much like many of the other lizardly creatures in this world, we must become something that survives, something that thrives. Like the Hydra. Remove one head to return. How many heads have we removed?
Far too many. Far too many.
Then instead of having a head removed by someone else, we must find how this head will retire its place and what comes after.
The turmoil it could lead to. There are already parties in the nation moving against you.
Then they have been invited.
Clans and families. Well, beyond the reach of this court, even.
Lord, are you implying that we'll have just another new emperor, or are you implying something different?
I'm implying that it seems that there will be another civil war if the one person holding the nation together decides that they need to walk away in some fashion. I think that no matter who retains power, the Great Tashal should hold the place as emperor above all, no matter what. For if he's not there, then someone will aspire to reach that.
Perhaps he
So
can
do you-
find. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Perhaps he should find his true place in exile. Speaking from personal experience, it could enlighten you.
Like the Forbidden City?
Precisely. Your general, he makes sense. You see this sword before you. This is not a weapon, my son. This, at one time, was many weapons. It was a thing that unified our people long before you or I would ever walk in these lands. And one sought to take all that power for himself. And in the end, it destroyed him. So Kumo grabs the sword, and he starts to manifest this magical negative energy, and it begins to break apart into pieces, each of them falling off into 13 separate blades. If you truly want to free your people, if you truly want the Horde again, you have to divide this power. And you have to walk away from it.
The footsteps of the great Achroma. That is correct, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Fuck those names up, sorry.
May he never be forgotten. But who?
So,
Who takes the swords?
Council of Lords that still pays heed to my name.
There are more than I'm going to say that a good group of them give a hear to that, and I'm going to say there are many on the council. Everyone on the council that's here is loyal. There are just families and clans that have been so wrong. It would be hard pressed to find a way that they would fill reclamation with any decision you make.
Unless he isn't the one who makes it. You want my advice, son? Walk away. Do what I couldn't do before you sent me away. I will never forgive you. But you did the right thing once. You'll do it again. As for the rest of you, if I see any of you lords and ladies outside of these lands, I can't guarantee that I won't kill you on sight. My former subjects. And he leaves.
With that, Tashal will walk and inspect each one of the blades, and in inspecting it, kind of follow the adage of Rend herself and cut himself with each one of the blades, almost imbuing a piece of his greater essence earned through the Geizig into each blade before taking one last look around the court for Gojira. And then leaving.
You just left the blades there all together.
Well, yeah, like the leader of each of the clans.
One of the 13 sections.
Okay.
Yep.
Leaving it for the people who are in positions of power, the people who were gathered to
decide who gets the weapon
to lead the empire forward in his name.
Yep.
But the question was what so his intent.
That's his vision.
Future.
His vision is them deciding their own
legacy.
Fate, because his decisions led to turmoil and strife.
Yeah.
That's a
Makes sense to me.
Question. It's like, no, I'm not even giving anything. I'm not. No, it's all on you. A barroom brawl breaks out. Well, the question's answered, right? So I'm gonna.
The question's answered.
So would you say that was light or dark? I say this.
I think it's light.
What we determine whether it's light or dark is how well that experiment went in the room after he left. Light,
to me, honestly,
out, dark. It just turned into a battle.
No, I think that this was a war-torn area that's tired of war. So to me, actually, I think it's going to be light. I think that they're going to be like, let's not keep making the same mistakes.
I think that war is in the nature of Gojira, and
Yeah.
even if 13 decide, there's 20 people in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
Somebody's-
the air
under-
dragon courtier is not going to be like, I'm the leader. They're going to be like, I will
No,
take
but
this
I might
blade
be
back
like,
to
I'll
my
take
leader.
this back. Yeah, and somebody's
Yeah.
like, well, the air dragons don't deserve to have it. And it could break down.
Well, so
'Cause-
let's say there's
actually,
more
one of the
than
things I was thinking is the air dragon on the way back home gets assassinated, and then suddenly the sword goes missing for that.
Or you could say that there are more than 13 bloodlines, and only 13 bloodlines get to have the swords. So maybe there's 7 other bloodlines that are kind of pissed off. They're like the minor clans. They don't get the recognition that the major clans do.
All I'm saying is the discussion in the room after this is very interesting. Like if it happened in the real world, where like somebody owned all of Europe, and they were like, okay, so here are the country lines that we're kind of walking out. There's going to be this many of them. Y'all decide how it works. And just walks out.
So I think that's a good thing to pick up next week. Is what happens with that. So what? Because we can end the scene right there. We end scene, and we can pick up the scene right after saying, "What the fuck happens?"
And we see that the formation of the feudal states, that particular event, is actually dark. So the chaos that stones from this might be negative.
Yeah, it's true. So
Trishal retiring to the Forbidden City.
Yep.
That's an event where he actually goes off to the city itself, like the event.
I think he just did. I would put that at the top. Like it should be above forming the feudal states.
Yeah, because we established that in the timeline.
Like I'm saying, why can't a scene change an event? Like why can't it be retroactive too? So like he does form the feudal states in a way, but like you're saying, now it's a negative event, right? So obviously there's going to be some kind of war or something that happens that's negative as the feudal states get formed, right? So I think him leaving the Forbidden City happened right now. I think he just follows his father out and goes into exile.
See, I guess you could say that's light because the time of the Iron Vice is done.
It's done, yeah.
That's why the period.
So that event itself is light.
The period is light.
Yeah.
The formation of the feudal states is dark because that's an event. So that's not just like in the room. The scene is in the room. There can be other
13 houses. So there's going to be a war vying for the power after these 13.
Absolutely.
Like,
there will be minor clans and major clans.
And then the retiring to the city, I think that's going to be just in another event inside of this, right? Another scene would be he retires to the Forbidden City. Like if you're going to say
it happens immediately after the forms the feudal states. It's in the right place.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, like this doesn't refer to his decision to go into retirement. It's literally when he leaves town.
When he actually leaves, so it's a period of light. So like maybe they see it as a hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
The tyrant's gone, you know.
But still the emperor.
Still the ultimate power because much like Rind, he can take that power back.
Imagine the person in the audience, like for the parade, as they're leaving. They're like, "Yeah!" It's like, "I don't understand, Mom. Like cheering him or cheering that he's leaving, but he's still the leader. I don't."
Yeah,
he's gone. That's what matters.
Yeah, he's gone. That's what matters. So, like I said, I think that's a really good place to stop for the night, and I think we'll pick up next week. Who will be? It'll be who's lens and everything.
Before we end, we need someone. Who's the one picking the legacy?
Oh, that's you,
Steve. Right?
Oh, Steve.
Yep, yeah. Steve picks legacy.
I'm going to do the legacy as the 13 swords.
Okay.
Ooh.
I know it's a bit of a retcon because it was only 8 swords before, but
but
broken into they're more like daggers.
Yeah, they don't have to all be swords either. I was gonna say like different parts of the sword could be different things. Like the hilt could be like a tonfo, and like one of the teeth could be like a dagger.
That's the only thing I meant about it. Like we're going
to
mix of the systems.
Athlon or something like that. Alatoon.
Alatoon, yeah. So what happened to Alatoon when the sword got split
I'm
apart?
going to say the 13 pieces of Alatoon. That's what I'm
Yeah,
calling the
That's all I
legacy.
meant to say before is that there are going to be there's times where we're going to be retconning things that happen.
Well, we never established how he gave power in
No, not that. I
Dawn
meant
of
like
Worlds to
the
the
fact that it's now 8-13. There's going to be other
Well,
things like
well,
that.
No. It was 8 before, now it's 13 because it's been broken up differently.
Yeah, it just means that Kumo created 13 pieces when he.
But do we
broke
not
the sword.
have 8 pieces coming together after this time period in Dawn of Worlds?
No, it was
No.
the last time the 8 pieces came together was to form the sword, and then the sword got possessed by Alatoon, became an entity of itself.
Yeah, I thought Alatoon then went to fight.
Yeah, it was still only 8
and
pieces.
she ripped the pieces apart and then cast them down to the.
No,
Ren
never.
Ren ripped apart.
Those are the pieces of Ren. That's something completely different. That's not part of the sword at all. Sword is separate. The sword came from the 8 that were originally created with Ren's power.
Yeah.
And they each took their power away and made it into a bone of their own body into a sword.
I thought Alatoon forged them all together into one.
Yes. 8 pieces.
And
then her soul was put into
went after Ren with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then she was trapped in it on because it was actually a trick. And then she just brought the sword back to her.
Yeah.
But there was never any other pieces added to it. It was only ever 8.
It was only ever 8.
The idea for the 13 clans was just to have 13 different types of dragons.
So it got broken into 13 pieces.
Which means, like we just said, like maybe like one of the scales got turned into a dagger, or one of the talons got turned into this, or whatever. A kukri, whatever the fuck. You know, it just means there's 13 weapons now instead of.
There's 13 weapons.
Okay, so it didn't actually change anything. It just changed the future of one item.
Yes, it didn't even change it because you just say Kumo had the power to change into 13 weapons instead of 8. So he changed it.
So Kumo made 13 items out of the big sword, which was a big ass sword.
And they're probably not nearly as powerful as the 8s, and also it's more of a sign of leadership than anything.
Yeah. They would be Numerani, though, if they were in Rokugan. That's what they would be.
And then before
pretty powerful ones, too.
Left, Tashal imbued his own essence into each item following
Remember, he's a demigod, so you're right when you said that he could take back the power at any time because Steve had him put his blood into those weapons. So just like Rend, he can be like, and suck it back into himself.
So that's why he's still the Emperor, because he still has ultimate control over the weapons. So.
Yeah. I'm still broadcasting.
Sorry if I kind of changed the scene by bringing the sword in, but I knew as soon as we talk about splitting it up, I knew what I wanted to do. No,
that's fine. That worked perfectly.
It was perfect. The moment you brought it in, I was like, this is better than what I had thought up.
Yeah. Oh, but then I was like, fucked up. Like, who the fuck's McGurgle?
I was going to have him imbue his essence into 13 scales, which would have also been neat, but breaking the Alatoon into 13 pieces fit better.
It ties back into all the lore from before.
Yeah.
So
it makes that almost divine in a fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're D&D, they'd be artifact level because they've existed for so long.
Yeah,
and they're
if it was
powerful.
L5R, it'd be the most powerful Numerani that you can get, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the Numerani are
spirit fetish.
But Numerani aren't usually used by people. They're usually put in places and like kept safe and shit. Like, people don't walk around with Numerani and L5R. I mean, you shouldn't be walking around Numerani and L5R.
It's like just walk around with like a major artifact. Like, hey, what's up, guys?
Come out in the most dire of situations.
See, I got this idea now where I want to make Kumo and all of the people that left with him that got exiled, his clan. I want them to be like
the Spider Clan.
The Spider Clan, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because we've opened it up that there's more than 13 clans. These are just the 13 major clans.
Yeah, see, I love this already because in my mind I'm going, okay, so because I'm playing out like historical war stuffs with Civil Wars, and I was like, man, you can have like even of the 7 that aren't picked by whatever council might not all be against them.
Yeah, they could be minor clans and support,
like support. Turtle and shit like that.
And there can be people that will flip, that will try to join another clan and then usurp that clan once they have that position.
Which is why I thought like maybe we do our 13 main dragon clans and then maybe like the other ones could be, you know how like the hare and the turtle, they're like lesser animals within that Rokugani framework. We can make like dragon-esque creatures like wyverns, basilisk wyverns, Gorgon. Yeah. Like we can take those ideas and turn them into their own little minor clans basically.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
It could be more than 20. You could say there's 30 clans that are still involved in this horde.
only
Because it was a
invited-
giant horde.
He only invited 20 people.
Because there's probably other dissensions.
He thought were the 20 most potentially interesting people.
Or,
also
as the
did say they were
courtier
all-
said, there were some who didn't show up because they were so angry. So there's plenty of other clans that probably didn't show up.
And not all of them had to be lizard folk either necessarily, because there's still horde peoples within these lands. Maybe a Trog leader was there, dude. Like maybe
And
maybe it's
we didn't
Scar
really
Elf.
identify. We didn't identify a lot of other people.
Now what John said about Samurai Cast is going to mean that the 13 ones that get the swords are going to be lizard folk, because we've established the lizard folk are the Samurai Cast of these lands.
And
so,
as far as the Sarariti goes, I'm going to go ahead and say that the Air Dragons, the reason she was so forward in the room, I think, is that they're actually like the coalition of the pissed off clans. Or like she's like they're like the closest to the empire of all of the coalition of the pissed off clans. So it's like I'm here as your olive branch from this, like
you have angered all of us.
They picked this courtier here to get the job. Thinking, that's why they didn't send their best. They sent the second best because they were worried that they might just cut the head off of the best. Like we don't know if it's a long shakes tramp. So you go. If it's a long shanks tramp, we're not going to lose anybody.
That was so fun to get to roleplay a little bit, dude. Even though it was
I enjoyed it.
10 minutes.
I know we were kind of like at first we were trying to figure it out, but then all of a sudden we started like really getting into it. I really enjoyed it. So
up for it.
So hard up. Sorry. That's a nice knot you got there. You a sailor?
That's a nice balloon nut you got.
When we go to explore a legacy,
I'd like to fill it up and then pop it.
Even though you pick a legacy yourself, you don't necessarily have to explore the legacy you picked. If one of the other legacies is one that you want to, dig into, you can go back. Like, if I wanted to, I could go and explore more of Kumo, since that was Pookie's legacy choice. So of the legacies that are sitting in the legacy pool.
I thought each person had their own legacy, and you could only hold one legacy, and you could grab his legacy, but only if he picked a new one and dropped that one.
You can only hold one legacy, but when you're exploring a legacy, it doesn't have to be yours. I don't believe. Let me double check.
I thought that was personalized to you, and the only time you can pick up another legacy is when someone drops it. That way, you can have one piece of history that you control throughout all of.
That no one else can touch.
Yeah, that no one else can touch. Yeah, that's the one way you can pick one item or one thing that
makes
goes through
sense.
history.
But I will double check because I don't want to make an ass of myself.
Yeah, I got the reason for the exile too, dude. We could do that in a scene too. It's because Tashal figures out that what he did to save him, he started the first Civil War.
Yeah, no. When you explore one, you just pick one of the legacies. It doesn't matter which one.
Oh, okay.
Well,
shit.
But it means that, like, let's say we get all the way back around and I do my lens, and then something in that is more interesting to Pookie than Kumo. He could pick that, kick Kumo out of his legacy, and one of y'all could, in theory, pick Kumo back up as your legacy.
So only one. Yeah, so you can't only have one. And then when you take
each person gets one legacy at a time.
But do you still have the legacy that he just used, Kumo? Do you still have it, Steve?
No, I have it.
If I decided to pick it up, yes.
Anyone can use anyone else's legacy.
When it comes to
take it from that person, and you get
you don't take it from that person. You
just get to use it.
You can pick a legacy from the current thing if you want to change your legacy. So the first time you naturally have to pick a legacy, but that doesn't mean you have to explore that legacy. After you've chosen your legacy, which is just a piece held on a card that says legacy in your name, then you pick one of the held legacies, be it yours or any of the other ones that are held currently, and you can do an event or a scene involving that legacy.
Okay.
So let's say I think the 13 pieces of Platoon are interesting, but I don't know what the fuck to do with it right now. But I had an idea for something with Kumo. I can go jump and do a legacy explore of Kumo for something.
You don't have to drop yours.
No.
It's one that somebody already has.
And I don't lose mine.
You don't lose yours, and he doesn't lose his.
Right. So
when he said Kumo, first he said, "If I get rid of mine, I can get Kumo," and I'm like,
"No, that's
so then I take it you can't kill the legacy without a good reason. and then if you had a reason, I could have a reason to bring it back. Does that make sense?
Well,
So like,
wait.
you're like during you take Kumo and you say during the legacy, during the event he sacrifices himself to save the world, right?
Legacy,
Let's say
yeah,
he
yeah.
died.
No, then he's dead. Wherever I put that, he's dead. That sucks.
Yeah,
But if you want to continue to explore Kumo anytime before he died, or
But you
if
said-
say Kumo divinely gets resurrected.
Exactly. Like
somebody creates a
yeah.
clone of Kumo 2,000 years from now based on
It wasn't
they found.
the real Kumo. He tricked everybody, and everybody thought they killed himself.
Yep.
Blah blah. That's what I'm
Yep,
saying.
yep.
So even killing somebody isn't necessarily out of the realm of what you could do with the list.
Yeah. I mean,
They suggest
Torrance said that Moto the Shadow Heart was assassinated, and someone else could literally have gone in after that event and go,
It wasn't
Moto the
him.
Shadow Heart escaped the assassination by using a
Body double.
body double.
actually they say you're not supposed.
You're not supposed to, but you
Yeah.
can.
The intent is that when things die, try to let them stay dead and move on, or else there'll be a lot of people rewriting things with Deus Ex
Or
Machina.
if you're that interested in the character, just explore more of his past.
Yeah, more of his
Yeah.
past. It's always there. That's what it says in the thing. It's like it's no matter what. There's always more past you can build.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're doing that now because I said up here that Tashal has to die by the end of the fall. So
Yep.
Yeah.
everything we're
But
doing
we can
now
explore as much
in
as
the
we want
past.
before that.
It's all the past for him though, right? Because he's established that he's fucking dead. Like I established that he dies.
Yeah, we're basically discussing his past.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing right now, is basically discussing his past.
Whereas all these other people, since we're still running the other world, could technically, if they're not dead, be involved in Dawn of Worlds
Yep.
Correct.
as avatars, characters, events, resolutions.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
This is Tashal's story, and Tashal removes himself from Dawn of the Worlds